On today's Pardon My Take, the Schwam is back. Chris Berman for an hour and a half. We went back up to Connecticut. He remembered us. He loves us.
What?
It was awesome. It was everything we wanted because the first time we interviewed Chris Berman, it was a lot about his career. This time it was Super Bowl memories, guys talking football, just an awesome time. We had a smile on our face, ear to ear. We are going to talk football. We are here in Arizona, live from Super Bowl week. We are going to talk Kyrie to the Mavericks. He tried to hijack Super Bowl week. We have Who's Back of the Week. And don't worry, we also have the lottery ball machine. We pre-taped it. So tune in to see if Hank won.
Yeah.
And it's all brought to you by our friends at Gametime. They cracked the code on how to score deals on last-minute tickets. They are the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. And right now, Gametime has a special offer for Big Game. All users, not just first-time users, can get $100 off their Big Game ticket purchase with code Barstool100. You can buy yourself a hot dog, some beers.
Sausage.
You can do every sausage that falls out of your bun. You can do everything inside the stadium for the big game with those $100 you save. And a little teaser, we're going to talk during Who's Back. Someone in this room might be going to the big game, and we're going to be using Gametime. And they can use those $100 to then go buy themselves a sweatshirt or something cool inside the game. So download the Gametime app or go to the website, enter your email, redeem code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But if you've already used Gametime, first of all, thank you. Second, you can go to the big game, get $100 off your purchase. So that's anyone who's even already used Gametime, get $100 off your purchase with code Barstool100, even if you've bought tickets with Gametime before. So if you're going to the big game, beer's on us. Use that right now, Barstool100, beer's on us, and enjoy yourself at the big game in Arizona. So thank you to Gametime, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take. Today is Monday, February 6th, and we are here in Arizona, Super Bowl week.
Arizona, we are inside you. It's a lovely place.
Super Bowl abs, everyone, check.
Yeah,
check,
I'm good. I'm
check.
good.
Everyone,
I'm good.
Yep. We all
See?
got our Super Bowl abs.
Yeah, look at this.
Came in nicely.
Washboard belly.
That little fucking Italian Pete Prisco is gonna be eating off my Super Bowl abs. He was wrong. I was right. We all got in great shape for this weather, and we're here. It feels great.
Yeah, no, it's Super Bowl week, and there's a feel in the air. We saw Tom Rinaldi in the airport walking around.
We did.
He had his headphones on. Jake speculated he must be listening to the piano music.
Yep.
Like he just bangs that nonstop.
Sad music, just looking at people being like, I wonder how many people in his life have died from cancer. Just walking around thinking that about everyone he sees.
There was a guy holding a sign at the airport, apparently, that just said Florio in big letters.
Ooh.
So Mr. Big Shot's in town.
Ooh.
It's been pretty nice so far.
Also, we should just note, so we have a great show coming up. We have Chris Berman that we taped on Wednesday. We went back up to Connecticut for him. Hopefully, it's going to be our Super Bowl annual kickoff Monday of Super Bowl, the Schwam. But right now, we're sitting in Arizona. We look like fucking idiots because we don't have our mic stands because Hank forgot the mic stands.
That's fine. Hank's in a rare form this week. Mm-hmm. Hank is ready to go. I think he knows that there are going to be a lot of people saying a lot of mean things to him, so he's pre-mad. And so it's kind of exuding. It's coming out of his Hank's anger is oozing out of every hole.
Maybe it's me. We got off the plane and he's like, Super Bowl week just feels a little different without the Patriots in it. I was like, Hank, have you thought that maybe what if a lot of franchises don't go to Super Bowl week ever? Lions fans never have gone to Super Bowl week. That's just a reality. Browns fans have never gone to Super Bowl week. Jaguars fans have never gone to Super Bowl week. That happens.
You're entitled, Hank.
I never said that.
He did say that.
I'm gonna have to start.
Well,
Recording conversation I have with you and put out a documentary about the truth.
What you did say was it just doesn't hit different, or it hits different without the Patriots.
I love Super Bowl week. I've been to a lot of them. Coincidentally, the Patriots have over half the Super Bowl weeks I've been to. But even the ones they're not at, I still have a great time. It's great hanging out with the guys. It's great seeing everyone, all the fans and stuff. this is the anniversary of the first time the three of us ever hung out.
Yeah, it was nice getting off the plane being like, wow, 8 years ago, a lot has changed.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, we have. It's a little like walk down, nostalgia here where we're like, oh, back in Scottsdale, we actually have our own hotel rooms this time. And we're gonna have a great Super Bowl week. We have some awesome guests lined up.
It's gonna be a blast. I'm looking forward to the game because Big Cat, we're good friends.
Yeah,
I put my bet in today.
you did.
Same.
$8,500.
So did
Hank put in a bet for like $3.20.
He's like,
on
I'm
the
riding
game.
with you guys. Not
But
a troll.
fuck Hank. But you know what? We don't.
I did.
Let's not feed the trolls, Big Cat.
Yeah, you're
let's
right.
not, because that's what he wants. He wants the attention.
No, I
This is what
don't.
he thrives
I
off
don't.
of. Hank, you do.
He wants it
You do.
to be
I'm just
nice.
here for work. I'm not trying to speak. I just want to do my job.
No,
and,
you're not
and
trying to speak. You just tried to take
go
my
home and
chair
go to
during
sleep.
tonight's
Oh
broadcast.
my God.
We did.
This is insane. This is insane.
Okay, no, we're not feeding the
We
troll.
are
Big Cat,
gaslighting
we're-
way.
we're
This
not
is
feeding the troll.
napalm now that we're using for the gaslights.
Don't feed the trolls. We're good friends at the Super Bowl. It's gonna be a blast.
It's going to be a blast. It was weird waking up today with no football. It always is like a jarring first Sunday without football. The Pro Bowl, I don't even know what. All I know is I tuned in a few times during the weekend, and it was like one time they were catching water balloons. Another time they were jumping off trampolines into a mat. Like, I don't know what they did with the Pro Bowl.
Okay,
And I think actually what they did was genius, because we all complained about how the Pro Bowl isn't real football and like, why are they even playing the game? Whatever they changed it to, I want the old Pro Bowl.
No,
back.
it's smart what they did, but I did read one headline about how the Pro Bowl turned out. So this will be our official Pro Bowl analysis of the game itself, the flag football game. Kirk Cousins leads NFC to a comeback. So there you go. All the haters that say Kirk Cousins can't win a big game, he just won the Pro Bowl flag football challenge.
I also read a headline, and I gotta find it. It was
It probably wasn't even the NFC. It was probably like Team Eli or whatever.
Report: Browns defensive end Myles Garrett suffered a dislocated toe at the Pro Bowl games and limped off the field.
Yeah.
So even whatever games they were playing can be dangerous. Dodgeball can be dangerous.
I saw one highlight from the flag football game, and somebody lateraled the ball to Tyreek Hill as he was crossing the goal line, and Jalen Ramsey just laid him out on the sideline. Just somebody forgot to tell Jalen Ramsey that you don't hit in flag football, but it was awesome just to see like a little bit of contact, just to get you a little, like, perk your ears up a little bit. Football is actually coming back again this week.
It was also it was great, like, to see them out there being like, you know what? This is actually exactly what the players who deserve to be in the Pro Bowl, Tyler Huntley included, I saw him slinging it around. They were all just looked like violently hungover, half speed running around on the field. That part is perfect. That part is, it should be a reward to go to the Pro Bowl and not having to actually put on pads and be like, hope I don't get injured. They did knock that out of the park, because you could see everyone had like sunglasses on, bucket hats. Devontae Adams was playing with sunglasses and a bucket hat, and he's just like, yeah, he probably partied all night. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He made the Pro Bowl.
They did not invite Alvin Kamara back, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's allowed in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to find out? Is he going to go to jail? Because I think his trial is still pending for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, that one's weird. We had the Joe Mixon thing was weird, because it like got he had a warrant and then it was dropped.
Well, he allegedly pointed a gun at somebody, got charged for menacing, which is a very cool sounding thing to be charged with, and then they just dropped the charges.
He should just join John Morant's crew.
Yeah, that might have been him.
That was a wild story. You didn't hear about that? John Morant, and we're going to talk about Kyrie in a second, but John Morant, there was a report out that he got in an altercation. His best friend and like some of his friends got in an altercation with the Pacers when the Pacers were in town. And then after the game, when the Pacers were getting on the bus, his friends were like basically saying like, come fight us. And then they rolled out, and there was a laser pointer pointed at players in the bus, and they thought it was maybe a gun.
Yeah.
Kind of a little too far, I would say.
They asked the NBA, and they were like, hey, was the laser attached to a gun by any chance? They're like, we don't know. We can't comment on that just yet.
I mean, if it was just a laser pointer, that's actually a hilarious move, because everyone has had a phase in their life where they're like, laser pointers are cool.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can try to point it in my friend's eye.
Or if you have a cat, that's
Yeah.
always fun.
Yeah. Like, I think someone brought a laser pointer to the office last week, and I was like, let me see that. And was just trying to get people in the eye. Like, it's fun.
Wasn't there a laser pointer event at a NFL playoff game I feel like Derek Carr might have gotten a laser pointer shined in his eye. Now, I'm all
I think
for
Ronaldo complains about a laser pointer when they're not even there.
I'm all for laser pointers. I just think that they should be green.
Cited for shining laser at Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. It should be.
29
They should be green.
scumbags.
Green laser pointers always play. Once the red dot
Still
gets
lost.
involved, I've watched too many action movies
Yeah,
to fuck with those.
The red dot feels like you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a serious story. The other football story is Aaron Rodgers just playing in a pro-am, winning it, and getting asked where he's going to play. Seemed like every hole.
Yeah.
Every single hole he was asked where he's going to play. People making Raiders jokes, Jets jokes. I want to say to memes, you're sitting right here. He's a Jets fan, Raiders fans. Don't become pathetic here. The guy is a jerk. Don't be pathetic like begging for him. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't
also,
belittle yourself.
I would also say the more that you want him, the more likely you are to push him away.
Yes.
You want him to come to you, be like, yeah, it'd be cool if Aaron played with us. But once you start to smother him, then he's more likely, just because he is an asshole, he'll be like, well, they really want me, so it'd be cool if I broke all their hearts.
Yes, exactly. Do we have any other coach hirings? I know the Colts are doing like 4-day interviews.
Yeah, so they're doing like
only to hire Jeff Saturday.
So Jim Irsay is doing like 12-hour interviews with these coaches, and I think they're on their third round right now. I think Jim Irsay just wants people to hang out with.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. He just wants to like take people on a tour of his house, show them his weird guitar collection, show them his patchouli walk-in closet.
See how long he can go to the bathroom with, for without them freaking out.
Yeah, again, I have to say I'm in favor of Jim Irsay using the restroom as long as he wants to.
Yes.
I would never walk out of that.
Well, you have to take a shit after you do the cocaine.
It would be nice if he offered the cocaine, though.
That's a fact, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely what happened.
Actually-
you can't be like, dude, he's in a house, probably a nice bathroom. It happens quickly.
The red flag was probably him not offering Josh McDaniels' wife cocaine.
Yes,
She was like,
yes.
that guy's rude.
At least offer. At least. Yeah, I don't think we had any other coach hirings. I know the Cardinals are doing interviews. Yeah, I think that's it.
The Panthers hired the Broncos defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk obviously more Super Bowl, all of our props, everything as the week goes on. So we have a Rhoback question with Chris Berman, which is coming up, hour and a half with Chris Berman. We also have We Love Rhoback so much that I'm wearing the joggers. And I tell people I wear them every weekend. I don't think people believe me. I wear them every single weekend. Mm-hmm. They were my flight pants. The Rhoback joggers are the most comfortable pants in the world. They have performance hoodies. Jake's wearing
I
that.
packed, no joke, 5 or 6 Rhoback hoodies this week.
I packed a ton of the performance polos,
Yep.
the joggers, everything. You will now catch us in head-to-toe Rhoback because it's simply the highest quality gear out there. So celebrate the week of the big game with Rhoback and be on the lookout for new releases this week. They have everything, and it's the most comfortable clothes in the world. We're going to be wearing them. We're going to be mini golf. We're going to be wearing them for that. So use code PMT on Rhoback for 20% off your first purchase. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all polos, Q-zips, hoodies, and the newly restocked joggers with code PMT. 20% off RHOBACK.com. 20% off all polos, Q-zips, hoodies, and the newly restocked joggers, which I cannot recommend enough. I have both the blue and the black. Wear them all the time. Use code PMT. Okay. Kyrie Irving tried to hijack Super Bowl week. Let's just say that right now. I have a place we can start. I want to read a quote to you about Kyrie Irving and how excited he is. So he says, so this is a tweet, have been told that Kyrie is ecstatic about the trade, looking forward to playing for Brad Stevens and understands the Celtics tradition. Oh, wait, sorry. That was from 2017. Here's the quote. Kyrie Irving is said to be ecstatic about the trade to Dallas Mavericks and looking forward to joining forces with Luka. A league source tells NBA on TNT. Mm-hmm. Literally the exact same quote, 5 years, 6 years apart. He's ecstatic. He's ecstatic on both ends.
I think it's a good move for the Mavericks because he only has half a season for his team cancer to spread. So this is like a good window for Kyrie. Once the first offseason ends, who knows what he's going to come back with next year. He's going to be like the JFK assassination didn't even happen. He's going to get nuts in Dallas. He's going to get some weird stuff. But for the first 4 or 5 months, I think that's fine. It's hard to destroy a brand new team in 4 months.
I think Kyrie's up for the challenge.
If anyone can do it,
yes.
he's the man for the job.
Well, I think it's going to be It will just be whether or not they agree to pay him what he wants. He wants a max deal. That was how it all fell apart with the Nets. They were like, dude, you barely play. And when you do play, you also like mix in a little bit of, hey, let's have headlines about the anti-Semitic documentary you're tweeting about or these weird comments. Why would you give him $200 million in 4 years? So they're like, we don't want to do that. He wants that. Will the Mavs do it? If they say no, he's probably going to be just as mad.
Yeah, so they had offers in, pretty good offers from the Lakers. The Lakers offered Russell Westbrook.
Great offer.
They said, tell you what, we've got a great, former All-Pro, guaranteed triple-double guy, Russell Westbrook. Let's get him out there. It was him, 2 first-round picks, swapping another pick, and that's where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to L.A., reunite with LeBron, which I was kind of rooting for because that would have blown up. That would have blown up pretty quickly, I think.
It would have been hilarious, and we also got the all-time emo LeBron tweet. He just said after an hour after the trade was announced, he just tweeted, maybe it's me.
Yeah, it's so good. Maybe it's we got to make that a segment of the show. Maybe whenever we fuck up something, maybe it's me.
It's me.
I love LeBron. I know that we give him a lot of shit, but I love LeBron because he's basically a billionaire, right? He's been a top 2 player on most teams that he's been on, one of the all-time greats.
3 in the Heat.
Probably number 3 on the
that
Heat.
First year when he scored 8 points in Game 4, I think it was.
And he's like an international icon, but he still has big-time, like, I really wanted to kiss you tonight energy.
Yeah, maybe it's me.
Where my hug at?
Yeah. Like he basically tweeted a text where it's like you've texted a girl 5 times in a row with no response and just maybe it's me.
The only thing that would have made it more melodramatic was putting the 2 dots after the maybe it's me. Not even the full 3 ellipses.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's me.
And you know what?
It is.
LeBron, it is you because it is your team. You have created this team.
Well, so this one isn't on LeBron because they specifically did not trade him to the Lakers. Joe Tsai said that they were doing whatever they could to not fulfill Kyrie's presumed objective, which was going to the Lakers. Presumed objective is such a funny word. So.
The counterpoint would be the Lakers have done everything. Like they got Anthony Davis because they traded their entire team. Anytime LeBron wants them to trade something, they've just now come around to being like maybe we shouldn't give in to everything you want. But yeah, maybe it is you.
Yeah.
I bet Kyrie knew that they were going to do that and told them, like he called their bluff.
What do you mean?
He told the Nets who wanted to play with the Lakers, knowing they wouldn't trade him to the Lakers because they thought that's what he wanted.
You know what? That breakdown of this, that's exactly how Kyrie Irving, if he were in your position, would analyze that. Like 6 layers of 7D chess.
I do like that we now get to do the only one ball because it is like Luka and Kyrie are the epitome of only one ball. Both guys need the ball at all times.
I'm excited to see it work out, though. I think
not work out, you mean?
I think it might work out. I don't know.
You know what would have worked out? Paying Jalen Brunson like a max contract because he's fucking awesome. I know he probably wanted to go to New York, and it felt like that's what he wanted to do that. But still, you basically just traded, 2 decent players, like good role players, for Kyrie Irving when you could have maybe signed Jalen Brunson to a long-term deal, who's really fucking good.
Do you think they're going to like him in Dallas? I think the Dallas fans are going to like Kyrie Irving.
I don't know. I feel like this is – I read a quote.
Every
I think it was on The Athletic.
Initially.
Yeah, the Athletic someone put it on – I can't remember who wrote it, but I was reading it on the plane, and it was put perfectly. They're like, this trade to the Mavericks raises their ceiling but makes the floor lava. And that's perfect. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, yes, in a world where this all works out, you now added Kyrie Irving that's the best part about Kyrie Irving is even after all the shit that's said, he's still every NBA player's favorite player because his handle is great and he's a walking bucket. Like, he could say he could do anything and be like, yeah, well, he's a walking bucket. So
the problem is that you do run the risk of completely alienating your entire relationship with Luka.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the lava part.
Luka could hate playing with Kyrie so much that he could end up resenting the Mavs front office for this move.
Right.
And then now you've lost your star player.
Right, exactly. So there's the lava, and it's but Kyrie, he'll show up, he'll be awesome.
He's gonna be staring at the Texas flag, counting the points on the star. Okay, all right, yeah, I can play here.
He's just gonna. I mean, it is funny. So I want to reiterate. So these are the 3 quotes. So after Kyrie hit the big shot in 2016, the Cavs win. Everything's great. That offseason that offseason he was basically like, I'm sick of playing with LeBron. Or no, it was the next offseason. He was sick of playing with LeBron. Went to the Celtics, got traded to the Celtics, said the tweet is, have been told that Kyrie is ecstatic about the trade, looking forward to playing for Brad Stevens and understand the Celtics tradition. Went on the Celtics. Didn't he go in front of the fans being like, I'll stay as long as you'll have me? Was that his exact quote, Hank? Where he's like, I'll stay as long as you guys will have me. And then demanded a trade from there. Signed with Brooklyn, said, in my heart, I always knew I wanted to play at home. I'm happy to be in Brooklyn. Played 143 of 278 possible games in 3+ years with the Nets. KD and Kyrie played 74 games together. KD, Kyrie, and James Harden played 10 games together. And then today says Kyrie is said to be ecstatic about the trade to Dallas Mavericks and looking forward to joining forces with Luka. It's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
It's the old saying, like, when someone tells you who they are, like, listen, this is who Kyrie is. He's going to be upset in a matter of months, and he's going to want to be somewhere else, and then he's going to go sign a max somewhere, and then a year from that, he's going to be like, I don't like it here, and it's just going to keep happening.
What about for the Nets? How does that work out for the Nets? The new big three that's going to be scary. It's Ben Simmons,
Yep.
Spencer Dinwiddie,
Yep.
and KD when he gets back from injury.
And Dorian Finney-Smith, and
there we
a
go.
future 2029 first-round pick.
So what I really wish had happened is the offer that the Phoenix Suns had made. I wish that had gone through because Chris Paul would have then come to New York to play for the Nets. Chris Paul, KD, and you want to talk about expectations on Chris Paul's shoulders this postseason, and there's no chance that Nets team would have won the championship.
Yeah.
And that would have been so much more powerful for us to be like, hey, Russillo, explain yourself, than
Yeah.
just another year flaming out with the Phoenix Suns.
It really, like, this 4 years of the Nets is fascinating to look at because they went all in with all three of these guys, and I guess it's like more of a because remember this past offseason when they got swept by the Whomping by the Celtics, and then Kyrie said KD and I are going to co-manage the team.
Yeah, no, it's co-coach the team, I think.
No, it was co-manage. I think he was like talking about the roster and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it really shows like, you know, at some point you have to also build a team where guys want to be there and not just be like, you have to take the shot with KD and Kyrie. It just blew up in spectacular fashion.
I don't think we knew that Kyrie was like fully Kyrie at that point yet.
Well, and KD's also asked for a trade too.
Yeah, so it's been a disaster.
He might not show up.
It's a warning sign. Like sometimes it's bad to go all in. You can be too all in. Sometimes just the tip is better.
Yeah, and you let the players decide they're going to co-manage the roster.
Yeah.
It could have some ramifications. It could backfire.
Okay, so as much of a shit show as it's been on the court, I feel like the Nets ownership, they've got a lot of questions to answer for all this because of the way not only did they say co-manage the team, but Kyrie was also like, yeah, we don't really have a head coach. It's going to be most of us that take turns. And Steve Nash was like, what?
Steve Nash's got to be the big winner out of all
huge.
this.
Yeah, Steve Nash.
Like, I told you guys, it was not possible, and this is proving it because KD, like, he could just say, I don't want to be here either.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they do then. It's just Ben Simmons. You're selling Nets tickets with Ben Simmons.
Do you think that you could have found like any worse, more drama-filled teammates to be on the Nets than they've had actually on the roster over the last 3 years? Like, are there any players that are huge head cases that blow up teams in the NBA that haven't played on the Nets?
No.
They've collected all of them.
Yeah. They truly have.
It's wonderful to watch.
I guess you could say for the Nets, they did trade in the Kyrie Irving trade. They traded Markieff Morris, so that would be
okay.
You did. I feel like the Morris twins are always ready for something.
You know what? I kind of like Markieff Morris fitting in Dallas.
Yeah,
gives him a little edge to him.
No one's gonna fuck with Luka anymore.
You need some edge.
Don't let Markieff find out that someone dated his mom. Mm-hmm. He'll get fucking pissed. He'll get real pissed. But yeah,
so who won the trade? I'd say America.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, here's how I think it will go is I think the Mavs will probably, like, they'll torch some team in the first round and everyone will say, look at this. This is real. And then either Kyrie will get hurt or decide not to show up or something will happen and they won't win a title. And then this offseason, yeah, like there's just no way that this is going to end. There's no way. Could you imagine us sitting here right now? What if I told you, like, yeah, Kyrie loves it in Dallas, stays for the next 5 years, and they win 2 titles?
You know what? I might put
that just doesn't make sense.
I might put some money down on the Mavs winning the championship this year. Just
maybe
because
not.
what if?
Yeah.
That'd be. Can you imagine that? It's late June whenever the NBA finals start this year. And welcome to Part of My Take. It's like June 21st, and the Dallas Mavericks are world champions.
Dude,
congrats, Kyrie Irving.
Their offense is going to be insane. That's the craziest part about the Nets when they all were healthy. Remember what was the Hank? Remind me. So they got swept by the Celtics last year.
Whomped.
The year before they beat the Celtics in the first round. Is that right? I believe so. Because I think there was a game where
like
Harden,
4-1.
104 points. Kyrie, Harden, and KD. Like, and if KD's foot isn't on the line in that Game 7 against the Bucks, it could have all worked.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's true.
Could have all. They were that close to having it actually maybe work
if his foot was like one size smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
So as bad as it all fell apart, like in theory, when they all 3 were healthy and wanted to be there, it's really just COVID's fault. COVID fucked up.
Well,
COVID fucked with the wrong people, and that's Kyrie Irving deciding not to play.
Honestly, it was the sickest 2K team of all time.
Yeah. It's also crazy because if COVID, like if like monkeypox comes back, now Kyrie can play because he's in Dallas.
Yeah.
So there won't
true.
be
Open
any
it up.
restrictions. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But the whole thing is just very funny, and the LeBron, maybe it's me, just so perfect. I actually am happy the NBA did this because it is nice to, like, right when football ends, get into NBA season. Like, they're just like, fuck it, we're all in.
So
we're just going to have the craziest shit happen.
LeBron definitely thought that he did something, too, because before the trade was announced, he tweeted out, eyeball emoji, crown emoji. So I think that's him being like,
yeah,
the King's done it again.
Yeah.
Brought Kyrie to LA.
But he definitely did something because Kyrie hated him. Kyrie didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Remember before he got traded, the reports came out that they just weren't speaking. He would just show up and they wouldn't talk. They were like Mike and the Mad Dog.
Yeah. Well,
and what now? Kyrie's cool. Like they're
because
cool?
they've been apart for a while.
I guess so.
Kyrie will hate everybody that he's in close quarters with if he spends enough time with them.
I actually kind of feel bad for KD a little bit.
Same.
Tiny bit. Because he did. I think the internet might have bullied him a little too hard with the legacy talk. Because, like, imagine if he just stayed with the Warriors.
Yeah.
That was a pretty sick situation. Instead, he was like, fuck it, I'm going to start my own thing with the craziest people I can find. Mm-hmm. And then, like playing with James Harden, Ben Simmons, and Kyrie, I would say makes you appreciate Steph Curry a lot more.
Oh, for sure.
He probably writes out text messages to Steph at like 2 a.m. and then deletes them, being like, I can't show my hand. Like, I miss you. Like, I'm sorry. It is your team. I should have been okay with that.
If I was KD, I would just get out of town. I wouldn't want to play in Brooklyn anymore.
There's a chance. He's injured right now. There's a scheduled update, I think, on his injury tomorrow. Like the Nets had said, they're going to give everyone an update. The update might just be like, yeah, we talked to KD. He doesn't want to play.
You know, it'd be sick if KD demanded a trade to the Lakers.
Yeah. But that's actually the worst part for KD because out of all the bullshit aside, I actually think that Kevin Durant loves playing basketball more than any other player in the NBA. Like, he just loves playing basketball.
And when he's not playing, he's watching basketball.
Right.
He's like on those like hoophead Twitter accounts.
Right.
Like
so
watching people's handles at Lifetime Fitness.
Right. So it's got to kill him that this is all happening because he just wants to play basketball.
Yeah.
And it was a plan that was decent on paper that just completely blew up in every fashion. Okay. God damn it, Kyrie, you've done it again. I hope he demands a trade in like a week.
Oh, man. I mean, I honestly, I wouldn't put it past him to blow up the team before the playoffs start. But on the other hand, like this is the perfect scenario for Dallas because you don't have a long-term commitment to Kyrie right now. You say that you're interested in giving him a max extension. I don't know how far along those talks are going, if they've even started. But they're open to it, or else they wouldn't have traded for him.
Well, you'd hope because
I think they're open to it, but they have.
I think you have to be more than open to it. I think you have to be like, we traded for you because we're going to sign you for a long-term deal.
If I'm Mark Cuban, I give that a little 90-day cooling off period before you sign it to like any long-term contract.
And the craziest part, like of all the nuts stuff that's happened with Kyrie, he's still awesome. He's been awesome this year. He's been like carrying the Nets this year with KD out. He's averaging 27 points. He's an awesome player. That's my point back to like every player loves Kyrie because I think every player sees his game as like he can do stuff that very, very few people can do.
Wembanyama.
No, Wembanyama's handles aren't that tight.
No, he's like 17.
I just like saying tight handles.
Tight handles, sick handles.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith is probably pretty pumped up because when Kyrie makes the Mavericks flame out hard, that's double dipping on Cowboys fans.
Yeah. He'll be like, Jerry, come on over.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Although Jerry Jones probably would be happy, right? He can't. He doesn't want to.
I'm
see
sure
the
he
Mavs.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. He thinks Mark Cuban is like a young hotshot kid.
Yeah, right. Still, even though he's like 60.
He's like 60. Yeah.
He's like this whippersnapper just showed up, tried to steal my show.
It's a football town.
All right. Before we do Who's Back, new sponsor alert for Super Bowl week. And this is maybe my favorite sponsor that we've brought on because it's Pringles. Who doesn't love Pringles? I've loved Pringles since I was a little kid. Everyone loves Pringles. If you munch on Pringles crisps, the chance of getting your hands stuck in the can is just part of the delicious deal. The truth is, it happens to more people than you'd think, and Pringles is on a mission to make every one of them feel seen and heard. Take a guess. How many people do you think have admitted that they've gotten their hands stuck in delicious Pringles can?
Like number wise?
Yes.
30 million.
No, it's percentage. Sorry.
75.
43% of people have admitted to getting stuck in a Pringles can, according to Kellogg's survey. Getting your hands stuck in a Pringles happens to the best of us. It happens to doctors, lawyers, chess prodigies, goat farmers, Latvians, my old piano teacher. I never took piano, but I'm just saying that. I wish I did. Kids should. That's the one thing you should teach your kid.
Music.
I actually have the piano like from Big. That
the floor one?
Yeah, the floor. I mean, it costs like $50.
Oh, okay.
But
if you'd asked me how much that cost, I would have said $2 million.
No, it's $50. But the unintended consequence of having the floor piano is Stella's just playing it all the time.
That's
She's just
awesome.
walking back and forth on it.
I always laugh when a cat runs across a piano.
Yeah. All right, so let's go quick. Favorite Pringles flavors? I have always been a sour cream and onion guy. I love sour cream and onion Pringles.
I like ranch.
So boring. I'm original.
Yep.
No, that's not boring because Pringles are delicious.
Yeah.
Sour cream and onion.
Yes.
I also
go.
like that they have great pizza ones.
Ooh,
Yep.
yes.
Pizza ones are good.
Pizza ones slap. All right, so Pringles sponsoring us. They are now a new sponsor. Stock up on Pringles to experience the worth it risk for yourself this big game and tune in on game day to see if a stuck-in moment occurs for the chance to win a year's supply of free Pringles. Sounds like a little teaser. Visit Pringles.com/stuckin before 12 p.m. Eastern on February 12th and enter for a chance to win. You could get Pringles for a year. That actually sounds like the greatest gift ever created. Pringles for a year. Go to Pringles.com/stuckin before 12 p.m. Eastern on February 12th and enter for a chance to win. Thank you to Pringles. We love Pringles. Always love Pringles. All right, who's back of the week? Hank.
My who's back of the week is America.
Oh, you stole mine.
Yeah.
Shot down the big Chinese balloon.
Yeah.
We got it.
Waited till it went all across the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah.
Well, so if you know anything about air-to-air ordnance, Big Cat, you would understand that firing an AIM-9X Sidewinder over populated cities can result in some pretty significant damage to the populations below.
Yeah, Montana, very popular.
Yeah,
city.
so listen, we didn't. It's the F-22's first kill. We should show some respect. First confirmed kill for that like $85 billion program. So it shot a hot air balloon down, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
That's what we spent all that money for.
It was also very funny. Like, I don't even think it was a press conference. Biden just got off his plane, and he just sometimes just starts rambling. And he's like, I told him to shoot it down Wednesday. And they told me that we couldn't until it was safe.
Okay.
It's like wanting credit for shooting. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we should, I guess. Yeah, we probably should have shot it down Wednesday, but we had to wait till it was safe.
I put together a plan for shooting this thing down. What about just a giant needle on the tip of the airplane?
What about just like get someone who just went to
Sniper.
the
Get a 50 cal.
What about someone who wants to get a manicure? Just pop it like that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You put a giant needle on the nose cone of the plane, and you fly the plane directly into it, and then you just eject right before it hits the balloon. That's what I would have done.
It was cool to see it go down, though. Fuck that Chinese air balloon.
I'm anti-balloon.
How many times have they been doing this?
So there was a report that it happened
How long did it
3
take to get
previous
here?
times.
I saw the flight path. It was pretty cool.
It started.
Was it like
it
a-
went
it's like a
over
hot air
Alaska,
balloon?
and
Like
then
it
it
took
came
like
down
a
through
year?
Canada, and then
Yeah.
it went through Montana, through like Missouri and then drifted across with a jet stream.
Nebraska.
But was it all off of just airflow?
Yeah.
So they're unsure. So what they did was they fired a Sidewinder missile at it that usually has like a detonated explosion in it, but this one didn't have the explosive. They just like hit it with a missile because they were trying to keep all of it intact for when it fell into the ocean. They could go like recover it and see what the fuck they were doing. So we don't know what it was doing just yet.
We'll find out. We're going to find out. And they won't tell us, but we're going to find out.
Yeah.
But Biden wants credit. He said shoot that thing down on Wednesday.
I would have shot it down so fast. I honestly could have shot that thing down.
It was just cool to have. It was actually a nice place in place of football on Saturday to just be like, oh, we're just going to watch this balloon get shot.
It's always nice to see an explosion and just everybody watching it go like, fuck yeah, America.
Yeah, we did it.
We got it. We shot a balloon.
That we let fly over our entire country first.
Yeah. we nailed that piece of shit.
We got it. We fucking got it. Okay, good. Who's back? PFT?
Yeah, I was going to say my who's back was American air superiority, but that's fine. If it flies, it dies. Mm-hmm. That's what I always say.
Hell yes.
So meme's just in a text, so I'll just say who's back? Potentially Chris Paul.
Ooh.
The Phoenix Suns are prepared to pursue Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant should he become available, league sources tell NBA on TNT. That scares me a little bit because I do think that the Suns with Kevin Durant
your Mavs future's already gone up in smoke.
They would probably become a significant threat to my Mavericks.
Yeah.
So, my Nuggets, excuse me. It's my Nuggets this year, but I do feel like Kevin Durant on that team would be a nice piece to add.
It'd be very fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it would be so great if they didn't win the championship with KD on that team.
Yeah, it would just be they would. So what would the trade be? It would be Chris Paul and picks and something else to the Nets.
I'm not a capologist.
Yeah, it would just be we would get if that happens, Versilla's on the next show.
Probably Jay Crowder would be involved in that deal.
Yeah, I'm watching the Nets lose in the first round, like get swept by Giannis or something, and be like, Chris Paul, what happened? Thoughts?
It'd be incredible.
Yeah, Kevin Durant on the Suns would shake things up. The West is crazy.
The West would be so fun.
The West has every team could win it right now, and every team is within like 5 games of each other. Go for it, Suns.
Every team except the Lakers.
Except for the Lakers, they're I think 2 games out of. No, let's see. I want to actually let's look real quick. The Lakers, I believe, are in the play-in game. They're two out of the play-in game. Everyone's.
What? They're only 5 games out of the 3 seed.
They're only 5 games out of the 3 seed. That's a fact. Yeah, that's how crazy the West is right now. Okay, my who's back is Max. Max, you want to come sit down? You want to take a mic real quick? So Max is back because I've decided I'm going to play a little fun game with Max. It is the Super Bowl. It is birds. He's got his Philly sweatshirt on. Now I've told Max
pants.
I've told Max this before, so I didn't want to. Yeah, what is it? Oh, you're wearing the sweatpants where you look like you're.
These are good sweatpants.
You're a dad
Normal
of
sweatpants,
4,
find a new slant.
and you're just trying to shovel all the kids into the van as you yell at them, and you like have like maybe some Go-Gurt and throw up on those pants. That's what it is.
Normal sweatpants.
Those are the pants you put on
We're
a
supposed
Saturday
to be on the same
morning.
side right now.
What?
You
yeah,
and
we
I,
are.
We're on the same side right now.
Yeah, we are. I'm jealous of those pants. I would wear those pants on a Saturday morning.
I think my 3rd grade female art teacher had those pants.
They're very comfortable pants. They're very comfortable pants.
She was showing me how to make pottery and shit.
Yeah, that's actually Max is wearing the Chinese balloon that got shot down right now. Same material.
No, these are comfortable pants. They're in style. You
They're
guys
not.
just don't
No,
get it.
no.
They are. Yeah,
They're not
are.
in style.
No, they are.
Max,
They are.
no,
they are.
Max is
they
very
are.
defensive today.
No. Well, it's Birds Week. All right,
big
so
week. It's a big week.
Yeah, it's a big week. It's a big week. So I've told Max this before because I didn't want to put him on the spot. We've had that happen with the Ray Allen tweet, and it went poorly. So I'm doing a better job of that. But here's the deal. Everyone obviously knows the future I have at play with the Eagles, and I've decided that Max and our good friend Roan, you might know him as Angelo Palantonio. Max is going to the Super Bowl. I am buying him tickets. Shout out Gametime. And there's only one rule. The rule is if the Chiefs win, he has to pay me back every single dollar plus interest.
Where's the interest?
Well, I'm going to charge you a point a week. So if it's like $4,000
Okay.
So
tickets,
you
that's
can pay him
$4,000.
back later on that night if you
Okay.
pay him in full.
No, yeah.
If you don't have the cash on you.
You don't have to do that part. I was just added that part. But yes, so you are going to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Which is incredible because you
Yeah.
get to see your team play in the Super Bowl.
I still haven't processed.
It's exciting.
It's
Yeah.
a huge moment. But if they lose, you have to watch your team lose the Super Bowl and also pay me back for the Super Bowl tickets.
Correct.
And if they win, free tickets because I'll be as happy as could be.
Yeah, thank you very much for.
Well, you don't
this.
thank me yet.
No, well, I mean,
You guys are
The
going
Birds
to
are going to win.
Yeah. you
Shut
got-
up, Hank. I've also made it very clear. So this is the part where AWL's win is they either get to see Max cry and yell "said" and maybe beat up a small child at the Super Bowl, which we will document. If the Chiefs win, you're paying me back, but you're also like hustling back to this room where I will berate you for the entire episode on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear that what
And
happens
round
on
two,
Sunday,
round two.
there is no in between of it's either the number one best day of my entire life,
Yes.
or the number one worst day of my entire life. Like the middle ground, like the $5,000 just puts so much more of
Well, here's the question: how nice of tickets do you want?
$5,000.
You sure? You don't want to be sitting like
You're not going to pay for them.
50-yard line?
Well, you might have to pay for him.
Well,
No.
you might have maybe $20,000 a ticket.
I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? here?
How deep in Big Cat's pocket do you want to potentially wind
What
up?
do you want
That's
to?
the
Yeah.
question.
Do you want to just use up the entire future?
Well, here's the
I'm
thing.
fine
Here's the
with
thing.
that.
Big Cat,
80 grand, 90 grand tickets.
Well, I mean, I gotta
I'll
talk
just
to
say this
Roan.
about Max. If you buy an $80,000 Super Bowl ticket for Max and he loses and he now owes you Max might actually kill you. Like
He's gonna have to do a
you don't
bake
want
sale.
you don't want to be $80,000 in debt to somebody.
We would put on the greatest YouTube stream of all time of donations.
No,
of-
I'm looking at Game Time right now. There's some really good seats for like the $4,000 range.
I'm worried
I think
about
that's
Max
what we
though.
do.
I'm worried about Max and his Eagles because he cut his hair, and you had such strong, long,
What?
powerful hair.
You cut your
And
hair?
Max went out
Slow
on
trim.
Friday and got a haircut. He took like 5 inches off.
5
You
inches.
You remember
5
when?
inches
You remember
is
when
ridiculous.
when the
Thank you.
Astros were up on the Nationals in the World Series and Chap shaved his beard?
Yeah.
That's what happened here.
This is like right before someone has to admit that they committed a grisly murder. They cut their hair and then they go in and talk to the police.
Are they
No.
going to court wearing glasses? Yeah.
Okay, oh, no, you're fine.
It's
He's
not.
fine.
No, Big Cat. It was like down to here.
This is long hair. I
No.
got a little trim before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but when you never wear your hair down and on the sides, it's very obvious.
no, yeah,
you
well the
got a
sides
haircut.
I got it. The sides trimmed up a little bit.
Maybe that's where the Eagles got their power
I didn't
from.
think
You're like Samson.
I didn't think about it when I went and got the haircut. It was really my mother was looking at the stream and she was like, "You better go get your haircut before the Super Bowl
Does she
week
know
because
that
my
the
hair looks
Birds are
really
in the
bad."
Super Bowl?
Yes, of course.
Max, have you cut your hair at all this season?
No,
Oh God.
Let me ask you
Oh,
this:
my
how
God.
nice is your parents' house? Because I might be taking
yeah,
over the mortgage.
no, there's a lot of things that could be going on here.
Are they willing to sign?
My parents are on board with me doing this.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't like if I'm financially irresponsible, but this is responsibility.
It's
It's a free
the only
ticket.
option.
It's a
It
free
is the
ticket to
only
the Super
option.
Bowl.
Yeah, right. And I just
Free.
want to clear because there will be people who will be like, "Oh, Big Cat, like if the Chiefs win, take pity on Matt." I will
No.
not, because it has
No.
to feel like
No.
this. Because
Yeah.
I don't want you to think in the back of your head like, "Oh, maybe he'll be not." No. It has to. We need to feel the pressure.
So this is basically like a $5,000 bet for me. Like the biggest bet I've ever placed in my life is I think $500.
Okay.
So this is 10x of that.
But you could have the greatest
But
night
I could-
of your entire
yes.
life. And
There's
if
no
the-
in between.
If the Eagles win, you go party. You call in. Like we'll call. Like Hank has done that. You don't have to rush back here.
3 times.
Yeah. All right. I walked into that. But you go party. You know what I mean? You call
Me
in.
and Ron will have the greatest night of our life.
Ever. Because I don't think your flight's till later on in Monday
Yeah,
afternoon.
2:30
If
Monday.
the Chiefs win, you're back here. I'm gonna make you cry again.
Oh, I think there's a serious, like we always joke about me crying. Like if the Eagles lose on Sunday, there's a serious.
Okay, well
situation where
save it
cry.
because I want to see you cry.
I think you're gonna
Yeah.
cry if they win.
maybe.
Yeah, Tears. Oh, I can't. This is.
You're gonna cry either way.
This game is 7 days away, and
Should I buy the tickets right now on Gametime?
No, we gotta talk to Ron.
Sounds like you're having second thoughts.
No.
I think the hair
It's
thing has
only-
actually gotten to him. I think that
Are you gonna wear those pants?
I could wear these pants. They're great pants.
All right,
No,
we'll buy
no,
the
no,
tickets
no,
on
I have
Wednesday's
great
show
jeans.
on Gametime. Shout out Gametime.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe we bring Ron in.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And we'll talk
yeah,
about
because
it.
he's gonna he will have to be in attendance if the Chiefs win.
Yeah,
back here.
we're doing me and Ron are in this together.
I want him holding like a tissue, dabbing your eyes while you try to tell us
he's
how
gonna
you
be-
fucked up. I'm gonna be talking to you like you played 100 snaps.
I'm gonna be feeling like I
blaming you
played 100
for
snaps.
everything.
Like I think that I will feel worse than like the player on that
do
team.
you have your game day attire picked out, like in terms of the jersey that you're gonna wear?
No, I'm
a big
wearing
choice.
Barstool merch,
Okay.
Okay.
there you go.
like this sweatshirt.
I was gonna say, don't buy anything new.
No. There's gonna be a frugal week for your boy.
The only other thing we have to figure out is how we're gonna. Are we gonna get maybe a GoPro? Should you bring in a GoPro? Faced at your face?
Yeah, we'll
Just
we'll
hit
figure
play
that out.
the
We'll
whole
figure that
time.
out.
I'd watch the whole thing, especially if the Chiefs won. I'd watch the whole thing. I'd be like, I need that footage, and I would save it for a dark place.
Yeah. It's gonna it's gonna be the best night of my life. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay.
All right.
You sound very sure.
Listen,
of it.
I
No, I
want us to
feel
fuck.
great.
I
Max
would
is
love
so nervous
nothing-
going to this game. It's like right now you're more nervous about the game than the actual Eagles are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like I am going. Like I've never felt more a part of a game than I am going to feel at.
I would
this
love-
Game on
Or
Sunday.
you get some practice reps in this week.
Yeah, just watch old game tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
I
be.
should watch I should watch the Eagles Pats Super Bowl just to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
remind myself
It
that
can
that
happen.
it, that it can
You
happen.
can lose.
No. Not
Oh.
that
Oh,
one.
which one?
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the McNabb puke one.
No.
I would love for nothing more than for you to owe me $0.
Yeah.
Be the
That
best
would be
thing ever.
that would be
I'd
amazing.
be just as happy as you. All right.
All right.
Max
All
is
right.
who's back. I'm nervous for him.
Those
I've just basically.
pants are wild.
It's their wild pants, dude.
They're great pants.
They're insane.
Great pants.
Well, subscribe to our YouTube and like the video. The pants are just insane.
Well, no. He said the first time he wore me, like ripped his pants and had to buy them. So that's like an emergency situation.
They look like
But
it's-
then he just wears them all the time
But
now.
don't you think
Like it's not like
it
buying
doesn't-
any pants you buy for
Step
like
back in
my pants ripped. You got to just buy any pants you can get your hands on.
This is
He
the
just wears
dude-
them like every week.
This is the dude who has 4 kids. He's at the hockey rink on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. just hoping that the ref calls something bad and he can get into a fight.
These are some major I give up pants.
Yes, exactly.
I was it was the day Penn State was in the Rose Bowl. I was getting into an Uber and my pants literally ripped. Like
Oh, no.
my dick was hanging out of my pants. Like all up in my crotch was ball, dick and balls were out of my pants. So I went in and these were the best things I could find, but they're super comfortable. These were my flying pants.
It's like if a janitor wore Jinkos. That's what we're looking at.
you wear pants like this.
It just major like I want
Mine
to
is just
Mine
unironically.
are the clutch jeans.
Yeah, no,
I break them out on special occasions.
It's major. I want to yell at children pants, his own or
which
others.
is probably gonna. Which there's a chance that's how this week ends.
That's like what that giant dude that won the senator position in Philadelphia. That's like what he would wear to court.
Yeah, Max. I don't want you wearing those shoes on Sunday.
I've worn them the past
Okay, all right. I mean, PFT bought those shoes because you lost to the Commanders. That was the only game that Jalen Hurts
That's
lost.
such a great point.
Those are sick Eagles shoes.
You were wearing shoes that commemorates the only time Jalen Hurts lost this season in a game he played. Do you think that might be a problem? Do you think that might be an issue?
I've worn them the past 2 playoff games because PFT. You said the same thing to me.
Okay.
In the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I mean, you won.
What
them.
size shoe
Yeah.
do you wear?
12.
Put these on. You look a lot better. You look more like a dad.
No.
They're
Get those out of there. You're do showing your socks.
All right, Jake, finish us off before we get to the Schwam.
My who's back is Duke.
Yes.
They
Oh,
snapped
yeah.
their losing streak, their 2-game losing streak to North Carolina over the weekend.
What were the 2
and
games
they
they
are
lost?
1-0 They lost Coach K's final home game and in the Final Four.
Oh, wow.
And they are 1-0 in the post-Coach K era against North Carolina.
Yeah. What about the rest of their record? Where are they in the ACC right now?
They're in the top half, I believe.
Oh, top half. Is that the Duke standard?
I would say no.
Miami -4 tonight. Hammer play.
Against Duke? Yeah. So congratulations to Duke. They snapped the losing streak against UNC.
I still think Coach K should come back.
Also,
it's sad what's happened to the program since he left.
I watched the whole game, and it bummed me out because both Hubert Davis and John Shire like to play defense, and that's not my Duke UNC.
Did you watch the Auburn game? Auburn, Tennessee? I think the final was like
some of that,
it was
yeah.
like 43-41.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So that bummed me out.
Yeah.
That game should always go over.
Also a reminder to call the bowling guy.
Oh, yeah.
But it's 12:20 Eastern.
We got to do it, right? Hold on, now I got to scroll back. I got to save his number. I'm going to save his number into my phone.
Why are you calling him again?
What?
Because Pete Weber's not bowling in the World Cup
Oh,
or whatever it is this weekend.
right.
U.S. Open? U.S. Open.
US Open.
U.S. Open. He wasn't bowling in it. Some dude with a fro was bowling, though. That guy looked
Yeah.
cool. I have no idea who he was. He just had a good vibe.
But I was looking at the scores. Some guy bowled a 177.
So, Jake,
The US Open.
you could be in the U.S. Open.
I guess.
It's gross that they didn't let Pete Weber bowl.
No,
it
that
stinks
guy's
to high
probably
heaven.
much-
Sounds
Pete
like it's
Weber
first
is
step.
Definitely much
bowling.
better than me.
I went down a Pete Weber rabbit hole, and he's been a badass since he fucking showed up on the scene.
This is what happens when you're bigger than the game. They hate him. They hate us because they ain't us, right, Hank?
That was this year. I mean, that was this game 8
What do you
years
mean,
ago.
the Super Bowl?
Hate us because they ain't us.
All right, I'm saved his number so that this won't take long next time.
It would be full circle. This was the greatest night of my life.
I think it's like 1 in the morning when I'm calling him.
Do you know who the Eagles are going to have
This guy's
perform
probably
after?
staying up thinking of new ways to railroad Pete Weber.
What'd you ask, Hank?
Well, it's like, you know, when you come to these and your team's in the game, you start to try and figure out who they hire to perform after the Super Bowl. So, like,
Don't listen to him.
I'm serious.
Meek Mill's definitely in town.
Probably Meek Mill, Lil Uzi, it'll probably be an Unreal. I hope it happens. I have a future on them too.
Stop it.
Fuck you.
How much
all
you saying to make, Hank? $2?
Like $5. I could cash out right now for $230 if I wanted to. I'm not gonna.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the Schwam. Okay. Let's get to the Schwam. He's brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Two of the most iconic beer brands are about to make history this year. Coors Light and Miller Lite are back in the big game after 30 years, and for the first time, they're joining forces for a commercial. But the big mystery is, which beer is the ad actually for? We're Team Coors Light, as everyone knows. We love Coors Light. It's the coldest beer out there. The mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue, but every detail of the ad is completely under wraps until the actual game. So make sure that you're tuning in and make sure you're rooting for Coors Light and have a Coors Light in your hand to show your support. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. The big game hasn't been this refreshing in 30 years. Be sure to tune in to see which of these beer giants reign supreme and pick up your Coors Light to enjoy during the game. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Okay, here he is, Chris Berman. Okay, we now welcome on very special guest, recurring guest. Hopefully this becomes a tradition starting Super Bowl week with the Schwam. We're back here almost exactly a year from the last time we saw you, back in Connecticut, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Thank you for joining us, first of all.
You made the trek up here. Thank you.
I mean, it's the easiest trek in the world when we get to sit with you for an hour. So thank you for joining us. I do hope this becomes a tradition. We're like, how do we kick off Super Bowl week? How do we one-up the Schwam from last year? Well, let's just do it again. Let's run it back for the people. So, and we're lucky because we're sitting here on Wednesday. We're going to run this on Monday to start Super Bowl week. Tom Brady retired an hour ago.
He did?
So we get breaking news. So we get your unfiltered thoughts right away. So let's start there. I mean, is it a discussion greatest of all time? You've watched more football than probably anyone in the world. Wow. Is he the greatest of all time? Or are you gonna say Joe Montana? I know you got a relationship with Joe Montana, but Lay it on us.
I do. It's 1 and 1A. I mean, but if yeah, it can be recurring. 1 is an accident, 2 is a trend. No, we often said 3 was a problem, but we also said when there were good things, 3 is evidence. So we're on
I
our
like
way.
that.
Just as an aside. So if the ultimate yardstick, again, a football term, no pun intended, is winning, well, so think of this. And I didn't think of this till like an hour ago. So he played, 08 he was hurt. So 21 years, played. He was on the Patriots in 2000. But
Yep.
01 to 22, minus a year. So he played in half the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He won a third of them, 7 out of 21. And he won early, and he didn't win the very last year, but he won late, real late. He won in different fashions. Football was I don't want to say different Neanderthal 20 years ago, but think of the way, and of course he won the 6 with Bill Belichick and then the one other Tampa. Think of the way the Patriots of 01, 03, 04 were.
Yeah.
They were not ground and pound, but it was a defensive. The last year 04 was probably their best of those 3. They had Corey Dillon to run, but the other years. By 07, which was 19 and 0 if you take off the last minute.
Yep.
But for the history books, it was Randy Moss, 25 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was 50 touchdowns in the year, whatever he had. It was that. Not that they didn't play defense, but it wasn't. That was the headline. Brady to Moss, 50. Now the one they lost to the Giants in 11, again, only 4 years. The 2 tight ends, they had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. They weren't the only offensive players they had, but they were. That was the headline. Now, all along, and I'm going to jump in here, the only constants offensively were a slot, Troy Brown, begat Wes Welker, begat Julian Edelman as we move forward, and always a back, Kevin Falk, and James White later on, and the fellow that went to the Giants. I'm spacing for a moment. He caught a lot in that Seahawk game, but those are the only constants. They weren't the headlines, although the slot, Edelman and Welker caught a lot. So now toward the end, the comeback year, the win against Seattle, which is monumental. The comeback, speaking of monumental, against Atlanta, and then oddly enough, the only 2 that he won that weren't at the wire were the kind of 13-3. They won over the Rams, and then the one with Tampa over Kansas. My point is, I'm not saying he won with. They still had great coaching. He's still Tom Brady, and how he threw 700 passes at 45 years old, we actually will never know. I'm going to eat avocado ice cream for the rest of my life. Okay?
No, you aren't.
But
no, we aren't.
Maybe not. I haven't found it yet, but I will.
Right.
So I'm going on, but these are like the Tom thoughts. So it wasn't like they won. This is what we do.
Yeah, right.
For 20 years, we don't do that.
He evolved.
It was different, and something about winning and the great ones. I remember Joe Montana. I think when Joe Montana told me once when I interviewed him, and I know when it was before the 4th, and as it turned out, final Super Bowl that he won in '89. I said, "What is it about winning?" And he thought for 5 seconds, and he went, "I'm just so darn afraid to lose."
I like
it's
that.
such a simple answer.
Yeah.
I don't think that way. Do you guys I'm afraid to lose what? Like my car keys? Like I do it every day. Like where did I put them? You know? So, and I know Tom's the same way. The fact that and one more, and then I'm talking too much. The fact that maybe he was 36 or 37. I don't know what year it was that I interviewed him in New England, which he was good enough to give me every year or two, like just a loan, usually a January before their first playoff game interview. I said, "So how long do you want to do this?" Not expecting, I didn't know what the answer was going to be. He went, "I think 45. And I said, hold on, Tom, did you say 40? Because he goes, no. Boomer, I said 45. Or Swami, you could Swam. I said 45. I went, really? That's like 8 years or whatever it was. He played the 45.
Yeah.
He called
That
it.
was a goal.
Yeah.
That was a goal, and he reached it.
And that's the craziest part is, everyone Mahomes looks like he's on the path to being a multi-Super Bowl winner. We'll find out if he gets that second, ring in a week here. But the fact that Tom Brady he won 4 Super Bowls after the age of 37, 38. Like, that's just, how many guys are going to be able to play that long? You see it all the time. Even the greats. Peyton Manning, his arm kind of betrays him. Ben Roethlisberger, the end there was a little bit, it's not the same. He was kind of the same all the way through, and he was able to play till 45 and be that good through 45.
Yes, and that good. I mean, it's not like he threw 700 passes and completed none of them. I mean, they were 8-9 this year, and they lost the playoff game. But it's like, he's 45, dude. We used to marvel our guy, George Blanda. He would come off the bench. He would kick at 44, 45, I think till 46, and maybe come in for a series if a quarterback got hurt. By the way, the Niners could have used George Blanda. Well, he's gone now. But you know what I'm saying. But that's neither here nor there. But he's a stud at 45. And if he wasn't quite Mahomes, Burrow, Allen last year, which he wasn't, he's the very next group.
Yeah.
And this is 45-year-old Tom Brady, not he's holding on, and thank God we get to buy a ticket and tell my grandkids I saw Tom Brady.
I mean, I think he threw 50 passes, or more than 50 passes in their playoff loss.
Yeah, like 60 maybe.
Yeah, like maybe even 60 passes. And that's what's remarkable about Tom Brady is the longevity of his career. Football is a violent sport. Ooh. It's a real – I mean, all you had to do was watch that 49ers-Eagles game. Purdy gets injured in his, 8th NFL game, 9th NFL game. Josh Johnson comes in. He gets injured as well after, maybe 2 series. Tom Brady, with the exception of his ACL year, he had a relatively injury-free career. Mm-hmm. And it's remarkable to play through your 40s until you're 45 and still be able to get out of bed every morning and be like, I want to go on a field and maybe get tackled by Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You say, well, some guys are lucky. Whoa. It's the little things that the three of us will never be smart enough to know that he did all his career in the pocket. The little shift. I see you 2 steps, not one step too late. Here's Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
Not to say that you're the size
feeling
of
that
Ndamukong
pressure.
Suh,
Yeah.
After, growing family, Thanksgiving, we all can get little things that he did to avoid. To put the odds in his favor, one hit can do anything, obviously, as we saw in the Niners. They lost their other quarterback in 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Lance. So, I mean, yes, it's to his credit of all the conditioning and whatever he has done, which is unbelievable, but it is incredible. So football coaches will tell you guys, as they've told me, availability goes way up. Mm-hmm. on as I evaluate someone.
Yeah.
So before he even throws a pass, he's available for 22 years.
Yeah. Well, you can't tell the story of Tom Brady without the story of Boomer, because I mean, you kind of bookend him a little bit.
Yeah.
You were there during the catch game. People forget that Tom Brady also at that game.
Well, Tom was like 4 or whatever, 3, 4. The picture with him and with the foam finger, that was from another time. But I didn't know that he was there then. He didn't know me then. He was 4.
Yeah. I mean, it was you, Tom Brady, John Candy.
John Candy was a little later. That was the '88 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
My mistake.
The Bengals.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Just that's one of the great Joe Montana. We're getting off of it, but that's the Joe Montana story that some of your guys may not know. So they got the ball down to the Bengals in '88 with 4 minutes or whatever in their own and long Super Bowl timeouts, and they're in the huddle and kind of tense, and Joe pops his head up and he goes, "Oh my God," or whatever he said. "Look over there." And a few guys looked up. It's John Candy. He was on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And a couple of the guys laughed. Randy Cross told me,
Yeah.
let's go win this thing.
But that's the greatness too, is those guys, you hear all the stories about Tom Brady when they're in the huddle, knowing that they always have a chance and knowing that calm, cool, that's the part that I think people probably discount with these great quarterbacks, of getting in the huddle with them and having that demeanor of, we're good. Like, we might be down, but we're good. We got this. Like, I'll lead us there. I'll take us down the field. I'm calm. I'm looking at John Candy in the stands. Like, you don't. I mean, that is the true greatness of some of these guys.
It is, and to be a fellow player, which of course we're not, to be in the huddle to experience that, like we have a chance even if we're down 10 or whatever.
Right.
Well, we're 28-3. in that case.
It means a lot. Yeah.
It means confidence breeds a lot of success.
Yeah.
It's not just because Tom goes, we can win this. We have seen it 100 times. What about the 101st?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
They do a lot of psychological studies about what choking means in big moments, and I think a lot of people have
Like
come
us
to the
over a
conclusion-
3-foot putt? I didn't mean it.
Yeah, maybe like over a T-bone steak, but no, it's like if you have doubt in your mind, doubt creates these little small moments in your brain that lead to physiological changes that you're a little bit shaky. But if you have confidence, if you're around a guy that you know has done it before, will make you win, all of a sudden you don't have that doubt, so you're less likely to make the little nervous errors that you are, and you're more likely to win as a team. And I think that's something that, obviously the great ones, Tom Brady. If Tom Brady's in my huddle, it's like, well, he came back from 28-3. We can win this game. And it strikes me, you've seen a lot of you've seen the best games of football ever played, a lot of them in person. What would you say is the best game that you've ever been to?
Well, the one thing, and that's a good question.
Great
The one thing I'll
question.
qualify it is that except for Super Bowls, of which this one will be, God, 41st.
41st in a
the
row.
first Niner one was my first one.
Okay.
Montana 16. But other than that, and championship games before we were doing prime time, and then it was NFL game day, I wasn't at a lot of games because I'm always in the studio. So I have to recuse myself from, well, what about that game? But I'll give you a couple so the best two regular season games, and we'll do that first.
Yeah.
I'm omitting a few, but the day the Saints reopened, they came back after Katrina because there was so much more to it, as you know. And I was in late September, so this isn't, but I remember on the pregame saying, we made our picks. I said the 78 Steelers wouldn't win in here tonight.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. And Steve Gleason blocking the punt, which now, after all that, Steve, ALS, I mean, who knows how the story doesn't grow, but it like takes even more meaning, and then what that meant to the people. The best regular season game I was fortunate enough to be at, well, there were two, because I went to some Monday Nighters. There was the Niners and the Giants each lost their first game in 90, like the week before. They're both, don't quote me on this, 11-0, 10-0, and there's a candlestick like December 4th or something in 90, and it was 7-3, which you wouldn't have. I mean, the Giants, Parcells, but you wouldn't have a Joe Montana game 7-3, but it was whoa. And in the end, they played in the championship game, and Montana got knocked out, and the Giants won on 5 field goals, and they upset Buffalo. But the biggest was the 12-0 Bears.
I knew you were going to get to this.
Whoa. I'm like Steve Gleason, and the catch, like the hair, I get tingles. 12-0, the Bears, and obviously in the playoffs they obliterated everybody, so they were lost. But it was as if it was Marino's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because in retrospect, that was
Get
it.
one, yeah.
In '85, he never, he never really had it. He never got back. Right, the year before they lost to Montana. Well, this is Marino, the Bears, and I'll never forget. I think, did we do this last time?
I don't know.
We might have. I came out doing interviews before the game, which Don Shula always gave me one. He was great. And 3 hours before, whatever, you go up, get something to eat, and you come out, and the Orange was like a 9 o'clock kickoff back then. And you come out underneath kind of the bowels of an old stadium, and you come out, and it's bright, and it's Miami, and I come out on the Miami side like a 10 of 9, and I see Shula with the jaw out, like already. And I look down to the left of the Miami players. Oh, there's Larry Zonka and Jim Kick. Oh, that's Nick Bonacani over there. I think Bob Greasy wasn't there. He told me later he was, but that's Larry Little. And I went, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Bears are not winning.
Yeah.
Bears are not winning. But the catch of a not, because it kind of started not so much my personal relationship with the Niners and Joe and Dwight, the late Dwight Clark, and Eddie DeBartolo and all of it, but it was, as history has told us, it was a game that, like the Tuck game, started the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Cats started the Niners. You didn't know they were going to win the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. You didn't know in the Tuck game that the Patriots were going to beat the 2 touchdown favorite Rams. There are games like that kind of, in retrospect, history jump-started. And then we can get to the Super Bowls, which I've omitted those.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
We're going to get back to Chris Berman in a second. Before we do, he's brought to you by Rocket Money. The average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all your unwanted subscriptions. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like the streaming service you bought just to watch that one show on, or the free trial that you never even used. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Simply find the subscription that you don't want, press cancel. Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times of customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/take. That's rocketmoney.com/take. And now here's more Chris Berman.
So 41 in a row. You're going to your 41st.
41st.
Incredible. So, yeah, favorite Super Bowl memory or play.
So many.
However you want to go, yeah.
So many. The Niners, except for that Bengal one I talked about with John Candy, they ended up, they were in control of the other three, especially the Denver one, the last one. Mm-hmm. I'm not old enough to have attended those Pittsburgh Dallas ones. I watched them, but I was high school, college, etc. The Super Bowls, the majority were blowouts.
Yes.
Now, not Pittsburgh Dallas, but majority were blowouts. In this century, 20, 22 years, they've 3/4 of them have been. It's kind of like this season, right?
Yeah.
Close. Even you don't think of, okay, I'm not putting this first. Pittsburgh over Arizona.
Yeah.
Whoa, what a get. Harrison goes 100 yards. Larry Fitzgerald catches a bomb and is running 80 yards, whatever it is. And then the Ben to Holmes. Sorry,
Yep.
I'm mentioning that. Obviously, the Giants upsetting in the big toaster. Brady with under a minute to go. Like Tom Jackson said, we had to be underneath then. That for whatever reason, we weren't on the field the last 4 minutes, and we were watching on the screen. Tom said I looked like even though they were down to the 7 or whatever they were, the Giants. Oh my goodness, they completed it.
Yeah.
The 28-3, I wouldn't. That's up there, but I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not putting that one. It was. Although maybe in some ways you should, but I'm not. Did any of them top the catch for me being at it? Ooh. I mean, I'm probably forgetting I'm not forgetting, I don't forget any of them, but so the unlikely interception of Malcolm Butler, right?
Yeah.
The reason, again, this is not that was 2014 and we're only 2022 season.
Yeah.
The reason I will point that as one of the most important games in the 50-plus year history of the Super Bowl is Seattle was about to win. Would have been 2 in a row. Would they have won with the Legion of Boom not upset all those alphas? Mm-hmm. Could they have won 3 in a row, which nobody's done? Maybe.
Yeah.
Next year, if everything was hunky-dory, right, they won. We don't know. They would have been the team of the last decade.
Yeah.
And had Tom and the Patriots lost, look, the 2 they lost to the Giants and that one to Seattle, they were both like just the way they won the other ones at the wire. But all of a sudden, 3-0 becomes 3-3. Whoa, what's the matter? They can't win the big, which
Yeah.
No, and it goes a
Maybe they don't.
decade between winning one.
Really, that jump started the third act of Tom Brady's career.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
And if they don't get that interception, I remember after the game, I was sitting with a friend of mine, Danny Kelly. He used to write about the Seahawks, and he lived and breathed that team. And we were talking about it, and he said it perfectly. He was like, "I think we just got a dynasty taken away from us tonight."
Mm-hmm.
He knew, and I think, would they have won the next year? You don't know, but there wouldn't have been unbelievable bickering and this and that, and had they, it would have been defensive that led it all.
Yeah.
And that changed the course of ultra-modern football, if you will. To your point, I didn't look at it this way. It did jumpstart Tom's third, although, and what I remember about that game, and this is historic too, and I said it on the air that night, and I don't know why so from Seattle by 10, although they stopped them they stopped Marshawn Lynch on a 3rd and short, and they kicked a field goal and made it 10 instead of first down and then maybe 14. That's part of the reason why they didn't run Marshawn again. I mean, I do know that, but then neither here nor there. So he completed just about every pass from that point on, Tom, and to Edelman or Gronk mostly, and then who was it? He went to the back out of the back. I'm spacing, but it'll come to me. Went on to the Giants. He completed every pass, and I remember reading, of course, about the greatest game ever played, right? Like the 1958. I was 3 years old. Johnny Unitas, Yankee Stadium, sudden death. They beat the New York Giants, a game that's what put football on the TV and in the public eye. It grew it like this, and then the Packers grew it more, and then by the 70s they were. But someone who was at the game, or some writer like your friend, was smart enough to write the iconic voice, Bob Shepard, the PA announcer. I assume it was him at the time. Unitas' pass to Raymond Berry, complete, first down Baltimore. And I thought, this must be like Johnny Unitas completing all these passes for the tying drive, and then which I don't know. So I bridged Johnny Unitas to Tom Brady
like
at that
it.
point.
Yeah.
How about, I don't know if anybody else did, but I did.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor about one of the Super Bowls that you covered. Not sure if it's true. I don't think anybody's written about it that I can find, but I heard that Tom Jackson and you, after the Redskins-Broncos Super Bowl,
Oh.
I heard that, was it both you guys were pantsless?
No.
was pantsless?
Well, it sounds like something illicit, but this was, so it's our first one that we did. I covered Super Bowls from 81. It was our first one with primetime. And Tom had just retired in 86 and was a rookie with me, a rookie TV with me. And it was our first year of having the NFL, and it was a different thing, and it was at San Diego at the Murph. And, the Broncos are playing in it, and they led 10-0 and all this stuff. And our site was for post-game, because during the week you're somewhere else. But post-game, you got to be near the stadium if we're going to go to 3/4 of it, then make our way over to the set. And it was on the top of, like a 3-story building, but you had to drive around it, but then there was a little creek, okay? So that's why, okay, meet me at the end of the third quarter down here, let's drive over to the thing. Well, Tom wasn't there, and there's no cell phones, 1987 or, January 88. Well, I got to go. And he was with the Broncos, not on the field, but whatever, and oh my God, by that point, it's a blowout for Doug Williams, right? And where's Tom? I don't know. And then about 10 of 8, meaning 11, it's dark now. Tom, or maybe quarter of, he comes up. There was no van. There was no nothing. No one knew where he was. He, like a football player, he forded the stream, which looked like, okay, 6 inches of water. Okay, we've all had wet. Boom, like it wasn't 6 feet, but he went in it dark.
Yeah.
And branches and twigs and snapped off and he went like 2 feet in. Okay. And now I guess my first Super Bowl show, I'm about to get fired. The Broncos get beat, whatever, the 42 to 10
That
or
second
whatever the
quarter
hell it
was
right?
incredible, yeah.
So, and all of a sudden he comes up, and I, you shiver. What the hell? And well, I didn't see it. He's bleeding, and I mean, it's just. I don't know how they had other clothes, or maybe he had what he was going to wear there already, probably. I was shivering because it wasn't like a warm San Diego. Okay, well, we're on like in 8 minutes. I said, tell you what, Tom, we'll come to me. I'll just do the highlights. I'll introduce you, but you're not going to be seen. You got another like 7 or 8 minutes. So you get 10, 15 minutes to get together. And they got him together, and I mean, he got on the air. So by the time the highlight, and the final score was a 42-10, whatever it was, and then we come out to Tom and me. And I said, well, I didn't point out that he wasn't there to do the analysis on the highlights. I think I forget who else did that with us. But I said, Tom, looked at him with a straight face. I went, if someone were to tell you that the Denver Broncos were going to lead 10-0 and then give up the next 42 points or whatever it was, you would have told me to jump in a lake, wouldn't you? And he lost it. So he wasn't pantsless, but it was nip and tuck for him to get on at the end of an 8-minute highlight. You know,
That's
like
great.
he had to ford the stream in the dark. I mean, this is like Washington across the Delaware.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's a true story. He was a ball player, right?
Yeah.
We laugh about it to this day.
Yeah,
That's a great
That's
story.
great.
Yeah,
That's great.
I mean, the relationship that you and Tom had, watching that evolve over the years. I mean, I think for myself and Big Cat, watching you guys do the highlights together, that was the highlight of our week. Was seeing you guys do that. It's been cool to see. You've got the studio named after both you guys now, and now you're working with Booger, who's a friend of ours. How has that transition been to start working with Booger after you were working with Tom for decades?
Well, Booger is great, and I know he's a friend of your guys, and he's Tom 2.0. Now, Tommy and I still talk every week or every other week. We talk Sunday morning before the Bengals Chiefs. He's from Cincinnati or lives there now, and we'll talk next week when I get out to Arizona. You're not making me drive with you, are you?
No.
Good.
Flying.
Good.
Learned our lesson.
Sometimes you learn things. It's great. Put the period at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
So, Tommy and I could complete each other's sentences. And what was most fun about Tom, and still is, and I didn't realize it till a few years in, was boom, I listened to the same music you did growing up. And I said, well, I listened to a lot of the same that you did. And he, from Cleveland, certainly a different background than me, football player, Louisville, Ivy League, Brown, but we both like football. So, and he was an ex-player, and a really good one, as you know, 14 years, still among the Bronco leaders in games played, 190 or whatever. He was like, wow, look at that play. Like, you don't expect a football player, and I was new to that, too, having a regular partner. They're like fans, too, even though they played and broke bones doing it. So Tommy and I were that way. Booger is unbelievably pleasant, which is not the first prerequisite of being my partner. You can put up with my crap, which I guess that's important. I don't mean crap behind the scenes. I mean on the air, like, hey, boom, will you give me a chance? So it really was much by week 4 or 5. So we've done it 3 years, right? 3 years now. Is it 3 or is it 4? Primetime, no. 17, no. 18 on ESPN plus 19, and Tommy did it that one year. Then COVID County was done. So 20, 21, 22 with Booger. Like in 5 weeks, it was pretty seamless. You don't ever expect that. And what makes Booger great is, and there's behind the scenes stuff. A lot of that's unrehearsed. Primetime, there's no commercials, so we didn't go over. That game just ended, the Rams in Seattle, and it was a great finish. I'm making it up, and the highlights run into it. We don't even have we can't even cheat. I don't know I'm the only one in America that don't know who won.
Right.
When we do the highlight. Because there's no even timeout. Okay, Seattle won 45-42. You won't believe the play at the end. I don't get that. Here's your sheet. So I can go to him at the end of a book, look to me in that Seattle didn't blah, blah, blah. He's got something intelligent. He's got something unrehearsed. He's got something, in 15 seconds. Not easy.
He's also delusional though, because he thinks that he can be a PGA golfer. Like seriously, he thinks that he could quit doing sports analysis, and within about a year, he could step onto the tour. He honestly believes that.
You know, a lot of the great athletes, Sterling Sharp, who worked with us and was a great receiver, obviously, until he had to retire because he might not have walked properly had he got the proper hit. And wasn't there when the Packers won the Super Bowl the very next year, but he worked with us. Sterling, I don't believe, played golf while he played. He certainly wasn't playing in the winter in Green Bay. I know that much, okay? So Sterling is, I don't know about now, but Sterling, because of the athlete and maybe the same thought, like a 2 or a 3, and he didn't play, you know? And so I get it. Boog, I didn't play with him this year. We try to do a Saturday in like late September, early October. He'll come in before he's got to get on, and we'll play at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. His first college hit's like 2 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that done this year. I forget why not. But so I can't vouch for how he played this year. Is he a much better player now?
Well, no, when I heard him say that, I think it was like 3 years ago.
Oh,
so
well.
you've probably seen him.
I believe whenever you see an ex-athlete, professional athlete, no matter what sport they play, and they pick up any other sport, you see it and you're like, oh, like I see how they move. It's just different. You know, like they throw a ball, they hit a golf club. You're like, yep, that's the difference between me and you right there.
So the hockey players, not every one of them, are great golfers because that's their 3-month summer in Canada that they can play golf, but because it's the shot. Kickers, football kickers. Is it because we have a tee?
I think it's because they have time.
Yeah.
They just have
so
time.
many of them are scratch or really good golfers. Stederud. I mean, George Blanda was like a 2 when he was in his 60s.
Wow.
Okay? So maybe it's, you're not kicking the ball the way you're swinging. I don't know
I
what
think
it
it's just
is.
because they have so much time on their hands.
I think it's a combination of time, a lot of time, and then also anything that's just a repetitive motion that you have to replicate over and over again. I bet a lot of them are good bowlers too.
Yeah, mental toughness.
Same principle. If you get up there, you do the same thing every time.
Who is it that's a 300 bowler? Mookie Betts is a 300
Yeah, well, we had
bowler,
Pete
right?
Weber on the show today.
Pete Weber.
And we were talking to him.
Come on now.
Yeah, we were saying like our memories
Chris
of
Schenkel.
Our memories are of watching the Sunday Countdown, watching you, and then be like, all right, and enjoy the games. Then boom, it's Pete Weber before you could change the channel. It's like, wait, hold on, it's football time.
Tommy loved that word.
Yeah.
Kegler's Tom.
Norm, who is Norm? What was his name? Other, like one of his rivals, Norm.
It was a lefty. Johnny Petraglia was one of them.
Yeah.
And there was another one with I'm forgetting. But they were Chris Schenkel, Wide World. I mean, one of the stops on the PBA tour, which got big ratings now in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Big. Up here at Bradley Airport, I don't know, maybe because right across the street from our airport in Hartford, the Bradley Bowl, and that would be a regular stop. I don't know what time of year it was that they were the Keglers were here in Connecticut.
That's awesome.
That always struck me as ESPN waving just a temporary white flag on Sunday afternoons. It was like, here's Countdown, and then here's Boomer with a straight face telling you to stick around and watch bowling.
Yeah.
We also, that's very funny. Well, we had to put something on that maybe those who don't like football will like bowling.
Yeah.
I don't care about that football, like those two. It had to be something that I don't like football or tennis. I'm not knocking any of those sports, right? Or what do we have now? Women's hoops? I mean, again, it's not a knock. I mean, it's okay. Who's not watching football? How can we get them?
Yeah.
Not the easiest to program.
No, Sunday is for football.
Especially the Keglers. Tommy'd love that. Boom, we have the the last commercial. What's next? The Keglers? I go, yeah, we get Keglers, from wherever it lands. I hadn't thought of pro bowling. They could be.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah.
That goes back
a
way.
It was literally like, how fast can you turn the channel? Because you would just be, all right, enjoy your Sunday.
You might have lost the remote.
Yeah, and then boom, wait, whoa, what is this? Is bowling? Okay, we got to get to football. Just like that.
That's funny. You had 1 minute of the Keglers.
Yeah.
Did you tell Pete to jump like So they don't review like the Eagles did. Did you wonder whether he, as soon as they came on, he just rolled the first ball down the
ready
lane
to
and maybe
go.
it was a strike?
That was the prime real estate right there. The first 30 seconds of the bowling telecast.
You got to have a strike on the first ball.
Yes,
so everyone sees it.
He's a big fan of yours, though. He
Yeah.
wanted us to pass along his salutation.
Well, me too. Pete Weber, Johnny Petraglia might have been the lefty, and there was another with an N. We all tried bowling, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's fun sport. So wait, what are you golfing these days?
I turn.
That's the answer right there.
Still
That's
like,
his score.
It's a
Just put
different
me down for an
It's a
A.
different 13 or 14 than I used to be. It little back, not that anybody cares. Little back surgery a year ago, all of and upper 60s. So this was the year that I refused to give in until the very end. You're hitting fairways, but you've lost with all of your clubs 10, 15, even though I hit that pretty good. Oh, okay. I still
Thought it
have to
went
hit
farther,
a 7 wood in this, and you're not getting on the majority of the par 4s anymore. Like you could, but you're going to put a 7 wood from 200 on every time. The pros don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try it anyway. I went 180 and it rolled into the trap on the left, and now you're scrambling to make a bogey and then you screw it up. So only at the end did I come to the realization that, you know what? If you're 50 yards or 40 yards short, learn to bump and run it. Give yourself a chance at a par, and if you miss, it's a bogey.
Yeah.
Like, just come to grips that you're not getting on. This isn't a 7-iron anymore, your second shot. Not that I put those on. So I'm playing 87, 88. That's all right.
Oh, come on. That's
But I'm not going to tell you like Booger, I'm going to be a pro golfer.
Yeah,
right?
but that's
not
pretty
even on
good.
the Ultra Senior Champions Pass Tour.
Yeah.
Okay?
Anything in the 80s is you're having fun. Because that means that you're not running around in the woods and shooting a million shots. That's fun golf.
That's our story. We're sticking with it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Maybe you get one hole to check out the scenery, and the rest of it, you're, for the most part, fairway adjacent.
Yeah.
Now, there's always a couple that's IP in pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and sometimes it's I hate this hole, and it's going to be a 7, and it is a 7, and the way I get around that is now on the holes. And the holes that I know are going to be real trouble, I'll sometimes put a 7 before I tee off. Then if I make a 6, you birdie that
found
hole.
money. Yeah, yeah. There
That's
you
a
go.
different way to do it. How about that? The power of positive, negative thinking.
Yes, I like that. You got to get negative to get positive.
That's great. If it's okay with you, I'd like to just gas you up for a second.
Go ahead.
And I think that you don't get enough credit for cable television as a whole. I think you can trace the rise of cable TV in America directly to Chris Berman.
Whoa.
Because ESPN, think about it. Most people growing up, at least, my friends, my coworkers, we got cable because ESPN was on there. Sports was on there. Why were people watching ESPN? Because Chris Berman helped to elevate that channel. I think you should get residuals on every
cable.
On every
TV package sold.
All
Your
the
agent will
bundles.
love that one. Just like retroactively be like, hey, you owe me $5 billion.
Kind of like Bill Rasmussen, our founder, who is 90 and who is still, I talked to him several times. He should get residuals.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
So, very kind. You gassed me.
But you were right there at the beginning of the cable TV revolution, and you were a big part of that. I mean, we always look back on things that we've accomplished, and maybe in retrospect, they seem huge, but at the time, we don't know what we're doing. At the time, did you realize what a big deal cable TV was going to become?
Well, we certainly didn't realize when we started. I think we talked about this. First of all, thank you. I can't look. I ended up being a quarterback, or not the quarterback, a quarterback at ESPN, and so you get more credit than you deserve. Occasionally get more blame than you deserve, but mostly the former. I started when we put the flag in the North Pole, right, or 1 month later, right? Like we were the first ones to find the North Pole, or we landed on the moon, more accurate. So ESPN, HBO existed, but you had to pay for it over and above, and cable late 70s. We started in 79, CNN 80. I'm going to deflect this a little bit. ESPN fall 79, CNN at some point in 1980. MTV when it was really MTV. music videos, which is a great idea. 82. Those weren't the only 3 channels, but if you're by the mid 80s getting cable or traveling, I live in New York, Chicago, where have you. I'm traveling to Seattle. The hotel, do they get those 3 channels?
Yeah.
I got my music station, I got my news station, and I got my sports station. Almost like listening to your local baseball game, except this is nationally ESPN. So in the 80s, I was not alone. I mean, Bob Lee, we can go on, Tom Mees. I mean, I could name all the names and people you'll never know behind the scenes. That without them, I would have been fine, but we would have been, a test pattern, right?
Yeah.
We did 10 sports centers a week. So invariably, or 12, like 2 a day, and somebody's sick, I'll do it. So invariably, if you were turning on a sports center, you saw me or Bob or Tom or the many others, and I don't mean to eliminate names at all. I mean, Greg Gumbel I worked with a lot then, and John Saunders came on in the mid-'80s, and we can go on, all my friends. So I was there a lot, whether you like me or not. I became one of those synonymous with you turn it on. There's Pete Weber bowling, right?
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be compared with Pete Weber. I wasn't as good as him, but so thank you. But so ESPN, here's what it was. I'm going to take me out of it. I always say that ESPN rode cable's coattails because from fall of 79 to fall of 89, it was a graph like this, cable TV. Nobody knew in 1980 people were going to spend, for 36 channels, right, in the beginning, $20 a month? What are you, out of your mind? I mean, I've been $20 a month for, right? I got to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I got to eat. I got to go to work. We don't have anything to tape anything with. What do I need? I got 5 on my TV, So cable did this. So we rode its coattails, but cable rode ours. I will, on behalf of the thousands of people that have ever worked at our place, I will say that it was a mutual riding of coattails. We weren't alone. But we went from 3 million homes, and when I was there and we signed on to, at some point, 110 million, it's not that anymore. I mean, cable is not this, but it's,
it's live sports. Stands the test of time. It's when I think about what TV has become now, and it's all the streaming and everything, is on demand. But live sports, you can't replicate it. It's the best drama you can find. And it's, whatever game, college basketball, football, anything, you want to watch the live sports. And that's the revolution part, like thinking about in the 80s, how many games could you watch a week?
Not many.
Yeah, like a handful at most. Now you can watch a game at all times. And that's the best part.
Even games you don't care about.
Oh, well, I care about them all because I gamble on them all. So, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. You want to throw some Italian soccer in my face? I'm in.
Who's Hawaii playing tonight? No, I don't mean in hoop. I mean, I'm just.
No, I was just saying hoop.
Oh, no.
Tonight? Listen.
Yeah.
The
Fresno
Hawaii
State?
Yeah. Listen, when you go the Hawaii late night game, when you're staying up till 3 a.m. to bet on that, you got to reassess some things.
Amen. Although it's nice to imagine yourself in the stand.
Yes.
As you sit in the Northeast or the upper Midwest in December watching the rainbows.
Yeah, watching Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, those were some fun teams. They had some when they were doing the running, shooting, just throwing it all over the place.
Jones,
Coaching. Tommy Chang, one of the best of all time. Cole Brennan. Yeah.
They went to
against Georgia. Yeah, they got
well, it didn't
smushed. Yeah. But it was a good season.
They were closer than TCU. I'm not knocking TCU, but I mean, you never know. It was a great season, and then that's why they play the game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've also seen a lot of great halftime shows at these Super Bowls that you've been to. Are there any that stand out where you were looking forward to it and it hit all the right, like you were not disappointed by it?
Well, you're not disappointed by it. An aside, okay? So sometimes Tommy and I would always sit in the stands for that. We didn't want to hear any commentary of anybody else. And, of course, you're signing and this, and that's fine. It's a Super Bowl. But the halftime shows, what they became for me as I got a little older. This is true confession here now on Pardon My Take. So you wait for the second song, whoever it is. You got the bathroom to yourself. I'm Chris Berman, and I'm in the bathroom by myself. I actually could get a hot dog. I put on like a ball cap, so it can't be him. Yeah, I'm not wearing the. It can't be him.
Yeah.
It's not him. Why would he be?
He's missing the
But you
halftime
got to
show.
wait to the second, because the first song, it takes a while to set the stage up. Everyone who's been in the bathroom comes running out.
Yep.
Sometimes a little sloppy, when the lights go down. But the second song, very important. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an inside story. Now, the one that it's funny, Tommy and I talk about this because we had a different vantage point. We go back a long way with this. So we would be at the game, but never. Primetime wasn't on the field in the late 80s, 90s, like the Denver story we talked about. We had to go either back downtown to where we were all week or some other site, and we would always leave at halftime. And now here's the 90s. It was the Dallas-Buffalo in the Rose Bowl. Ended up being a blowout, remembered for Leon Lett, but I mean, it was actually a very close game with 2 minutes to go. I think it was 14-10. And Dallas scored twice. I think the Bills turned it over. It was like 28. So we, at the 2-minute warning, we go down the portal so we can be in the car at halftime. And we had one of those primitive TVs back then, but you kind of got it, right? In the car TV in 1992. It was a Philco, or whatever. And Michael Jackson was halftime. And we're seeing him be Michael Jackson, right? And then we get to our site in the third quarter. So I said, Tom, we left. It was a football game because we had a different vantage point than anybody else, different experience. We left. It was 14-10. We heard the crowd twice. In retrospect, Dallas scored 2 touchdowns. We got in the car. We saw Michael Jackson, I think, on the same field where we were watching football. And now they're playing football again.
Yeah.
This must be not right.
Yeah.
So that's a different answer than you expected.
No, I appreciate that because you don't think about that. It's the biggest sporting event of the year.
Right.
And then halfway through, it's like, oh, here's Maroon 5
Yeah.
for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, boom, we're going to kick off.
Weird. I liked it when the Stones did. I mean, more my guy. I understand now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to appeal to everybody, and I'm not knocking any of the show. But when the Stones did it or Springsteen, it's like, ooh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Prince.
Yeah.
He was
Prince
playing
was
Purple
that
Rain.
Purple Rain in the Rain.
That was bad.
Yeah, no. And I always respected Prince. I wasn't huge on him. Yeah, I loved him for that. I was young enough I didn't have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That's about when it turned.
That's a
it's
good
about
tip,
when
though.
when the drive started going left.
Yeah. It was right around the Prince.
That's a good question.
Halftime show.
Halftime, yeah, but key bathroom stop.
Yeah. All right. So what's your favorite player to have watched play football? We talked about Tom Brady. Doesn't have to be Joe Montana. Doesn't have to be a quarterback. The one guy that you just will always think like, man, that was fun to watch him play.
While I've been on TV, I'll give you 2 answers. So
Okay.
obviously, Joe Namath, not obviously, my hero, Joe Namath, because I watched him play at Shea Stadium 70 times.
Okay.
Whatever the number is.
Yeah.
60. If he played 70 games at Shea, he had injury years. I was at 63 of them.
Okay.
With my dad and my brother, starting at 9 years old. And then the Super Bowl year, I was 8th grade. And then we were at the Super Bowl. We were the championship game. So, I mean, I actually learned football by sitting in the upper deck for $8 a game, like lower upper deck seats, box seats, the AFL because they threw. And I didn't know that I was really watching film, not that I'm so smart, but there's John Hadel, there's LaMonica, Dawson threw it enough. It was a throwing league as opposed to running in the 60s.
Yeah.
So Namath is my hero, and the AFL is our, it was so 60s. It was so rebels, with a cause. And we liked all the AFL teams, even though the Jets had the big rivalry with Oakland when push came to shove. They're in our league.
Right.
Hence, somewhat Buffalo with me.
Yeah.
They were the champs of my league when I was a little kid, and I remember them. Hence, always liked the Chargers. Well, they were in my league.
Yeah.
My league.
Yeah.
Always liked the Chiefs. My league.
Yeah.
So that's that. Professionally, and I actually said it both times as MC at Canton when I don't speak much, nor should I. I give my own minute and a half, and then here's the tape and all, and then et cetera. I did it for both of these players because I wasn't lying, because I haven't said it about any other one. Brett Favre.
Okay.
You always knew you had a highlight from him, even if he was down 17. There weren't a lot of him then. I don't mean like Brett played with Johnny Unitas, but Brett Favre, and he was like a little boy still playing a man's game, and then defensively, Junior Seau.
Ooh, good answer.
Because there would be a play that I would have to say, make sure, well, it didn't affect the game. No, but he went from that sideline to that sideline to make a tackle and force a punt. Well, they didn't score on that. I don't care. Put it in. And Favre, I mean, he was the little girl with the curl. And I lived that with him a little bit. I'm very close with Mike Holmgren and kind of watched that go from 3 out of every 5 passes, Mike would hide his eyes.
Yeah.
To 2 out of every 5, to 1 out of every 5. 4 out of 5, I'm pretty confident he's going to complete this. And so I
the
lived
lowlights
it.
were highlights.
Yeah.
For Brett Favre sometimes too. The lowlights were some of the best plays for Brett Favre.
For Brett? Yeah.
He'd throw some of the most spectacular interceptions I've ever seen.
Kudos to him.
Yeah.
To that point, we might have said it last time, but, what you said 10 minutes ago, nobody remembers anyway. The best answer in an interview I ever got I got many. When I thought Brett was finishing up, it was 2007 with the Packers. He gave me a long interview before their game with the Giants. Now, who knew that they were going to go to the Jets and then Minnesota? And by the way, they almost beat the Vikings, and he almost played in, almost played in the
Saints, yeah.
Almost played
Bounty
in the Super
Gate
Bowl,
game, yeah.
Yeah, well, and look at the tape sometime after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You just look at it. They were going low a lot.
Yeah.
Do I know? Whatever. And aside. So I went to all of, at the time, he was ahead of so many categories, like Tom is now, right? And I went through like 5 or 6 of his, you played 300 straight games or whatever it was in 2007. What does that mean to you? Beautiful answer. You've thrown the most yards, or what does that mean to you? And I went to about 3 or 4 of them, all with straight face, beautiful answer. And I said, well, Brett, you also have thrown by far the most interceptions of anybody in football. What does that mean to you? And he laughed like a kid. He didn't know it was coming. He went, well, it means I was trying. Best answer I ever got.
Yeah.
Like, unrehearsed. I set him up. You won the more game. You won the day. You had 5 MVP, whatever the numbers were. Most interceptions. I was trying.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, there's
You're right. They were highlights.
yeah, there are some interceptions that are, you don't want to have an interception, but you also don't want to have a quarterback that doesn't want to take a risk. So sometimes you see an interception, you're like, look, he's trying to make a play. It didn't happen this time, but he's trying to make a play. He will make a play later on.
He was fun. And Junior, those would be the 2. I mean, that offense and defense. I mean, we're leaving out a ton, but
yeah, no,
I said
good
those are the
answers,
only 2 at Canton that and Junior was gone by then. That I said, even in my little bit of words, that in my career, professional career, the most fun that I ever had was watching their games.
Chris Berman's brought to you by ZipRecruiter. The big game is coming up, and this year there have been some surprising teams in the mix. New talent have made major contributions to help teams that were on the bubble rise to greater success. If you're a business owner, adding fresh talent to your team can boost the success of your business too. What's the best way to find fresh talent? That's ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. Why is ZipRecruiter the MVP of finding great candidates? Well, ZipRecruiter's matching technology hustles to find the most qualified people for your job. Got your eye on a top player? Score major points with them by sending them a personal invite through ZipRecruiter, so they're more likely to apply. When it comes to hiring for your team, pile on the talent with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the very first day. See for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address. Try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. That's ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Now, the other thing you told us right before we started, we missed out on a shout out because Brock Purdy got hurt. So you told us you were going to say
Yep.
you were going to give us the. Were you going to give us the rock and roll all night, or were you going to give us?
That was
Was it going to be rock out with your Brock out?
no.
Oh, it wasn't gonna be that
I
one,
want
okay.
rock and roll all night and Purdy every day. I went, that's genius. I'm ready to give it to the pardon my take boys, and I couldn't do. I was gonna on regular TV, not
Yeah.
even ESPN Plus. This was real cable TV. This was monumental viewers, right? And that prime time, I think, ran 3 times like the old days. So,
Yeah.
So at midnight on the
watched
West
all
Coast,
3.
it ran again. No, I would. It was. I even had it written down on my notes, like, don't forget it. And then, sorry.
So we did do something for you though. When Josh Johnson came in, we did our fastest 2 minutes, and we did 14 consecutive for Josh Johnson. I thought you'd
But
like
I
that.
haven't heard that one.
Yeah, just
from
listing all the games, all the teams he played
teams
for. Yeah,
from
oh,
the
yeah.
Jets. You did
There was,
brilliant.
what was it? The San Diego Fleet.
Sacramento Wildcats
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Oh.
The
We
USFL
just went
team
all the way
is.
down.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
thought you'd
funny.
like that
I you have a lot of mix-ins. Obviously, I did a couple of times do mix-ins. The one way back,
Yeah.
I am the president.
Richard Milhouse mixing.
But
Yeah.
you had a game at Washington, and you worked presidential names into everybody.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Zachary Taylor, like.
Oh yeah, Zachary Taylor Heineke.
I mean, you got presidents
Yeah.
in Washington, and then the Mixon one that Mason Mixon line.
Yeah, Mason Mixon
which
line.
of course he plays for Cincinnati, close
Yep,
to the
right
Mason
there.
Mixon line.
Sure, yeah.
And it wasn't like playing for Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
look, I know it's a tip of the cap, but you're picking up big yaks, yards after catch with a lot of them. I commend you for it.
Hopefully Purdy's got a long career. Hopefully he can work him in next year. It would be an honor.
Yeah.
It really
it's
does.
in.
It really does make our year if you were to do something like that.
It's in.
And we need some advice, honestly, because we do it as a tip of the cap. We sometimes do the Raiders, the real low.
Why not?
I'm having trouble right now because we've tried it over the course of the season, and every time I do it or when
Yeah.
Big Cat does it, immediately after we're done, we have to turn our head and just cough for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
How do you get a real guttural Raiders sound?
You can't go all the way down. Somehow it's got to stop here when you're there, but you're up here with it, not because that's your.
Yeah.
Hold on, where's my
Yeah.
Diet Coke.
lozenge?
Yeah, we've been going
Diet
deep.
Coke or my chloroseptic spray.
I do the neck. I go, and I got to stop that.
You got to somehow bring it up before you start it. So it's only coming from here. Try that, but make it sound good.
Can you give us the full one?
Huh?
Can you give us a full of the Raiders?
Well, the full, yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? The Raiders. But it's like and you can go louder. I mean, it's just, and that's an Odell Davis.
Yeah.
Because he went Raiders. Yeah, it'll work on.
I work on it. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
They're not in the Super Bowl. You don't have to use
we got
it
some
yet.
time. I do want to say I think our whoops have gotten a lot better. I think
Great,
we're-
and you certainly use enough.
Yeah, we
Thank
use a
God
lot.
you go to Costco and get the full whoop bargain.
Sometimes we get a little whoop heavy. Yeah, that's true.
So what?
That's a
I
fact.
mean, everybody. You know what? I get with the young ones. That's what I get stopped for the most now. Can you say it? Summer's the rate. Can you say whoop? Ah!
And do you know what's there it is.
No, your whoops are good.
Yeah, do you know what's great too? I'll see a play and I'll just think of the whoop. Patrick Mahomes' fumble in the AFC Championship game. Immediately thought of you.
Ball slipped.
When it slipped, that was
doesn't
a
have
whoop.
to be a leap.
Yes.
Or a turn.
Yes. A whoop.
I mean, but it came, as we said, with Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And that was courtesy of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Of Curly.
Yeah. But I swear I see it.
mean, it's the
this
Three
is,
Stooges.
This is how much you live in our brains, and I see that fumble,
I'm
and I'm not
worried
like,
about
what a
you.
fumble. I'm like, oh, that's a Schwam whoop right there.
I'm worried about you. You guys have been on too long.
Yeah.
I'm worried about you. No, look. Sound effects, they're not for everybody. And, a couple of guys you go on with, I mean, they don't, relax. It's just for fun, right? And I mean, you guys relax. You know what I mean. But it's not that this is exactly right, but I tell our folks cutting highlights, and I didn't know this when I started TV in my 20s, when words and pictures match up, 1 + 1 = 3. when words and pictures don't match up, either your narration or you wouldn't normally try a sound effect on a whoop when a guy's just running the ball. You wouldn't, but 1 + 1 = 1.
Yeah. But you know what it is? You just said something there, and I think this is probably why we're drawn to you and a lot of our success. Football and sports are supposed to be fun, and you've always had fun. And that is something that translates to the people, because I think there are a lot of people now who talk about sports, and they don't make it as fun. It's a lot more serious. And we've always had the mantra with our show is like, life's hard enough. Sports are supposed to be the thing that you watch for fun, and that we'll make fun of people's teams, we'll make fun of our teams, but like at the end of the day, what is it? It's not hard life. It's not, we're not talking about serious topics. We're talking about sports. It's fun.
Correct. And that's what people listen in. Now, you guys have great wit. I'm not saying not everybody on has great wit. They do in different ways. Bob Lee and I are two different animals. Bob Lee is a great professional. I look up to him in a lot of ways. I don't know that he looks up to me in a lot of ways, but we're great friends,
than him.
Right? So, but he's him. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't get what you just said. It's just for him now to be gregarious would not be him, and now you're acting a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he would or did. I'm that way. You guys are that way. I mean, you have more boisterous than here, but the combination is we're just having fun. And if we're busting, it really isn't mean-spirited. Busting on somebody's team, they stunk today. They did.
Right.
Usually. Sometimes people go a little more. It shouldn't be personal.
Right.
And the athletes are also people, and so I don't mean to make this analogy, but so the Bills, which is an unbelievable season packed with everything, and this sounds like an excuse for why they lost to the Bengals. The Bengals are better from play 1 to play 100, okay? So let's start with that, in that game. I wondered, and I said it, and I'm close with them, but they're human beings. With Damar Hamlin, with that being the game they played against the Bengals, like the first week there was an exhale, like he's even in the building. We think's going to be really okay, even if it takes a year. Well, you had that for 3 weeks, maybe not sleeping at night, worrying about him.
Yeah.
You had 2 6-feet snowfalls where you're going to Detroit now. You guys didn't have power last night with your wife and your 3 and your 1-year-old. You did by the time you left, but you're leaving them alone, and you're going to play football in Detroit. We're going to go through Canada. Well, they clear the airport for them, but and then you're going to come back, and there was the shooting in the supermarket in the black neighborhood in the summer. They're not the only franchise that have, but this was a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
emotional.
I wondered,
how
much gas did they use up to get to this point? Is that the reason they lost to the Bengals? The Bengals were better. But they're human beings. So to make, but what were they? They didn't care. They acted like they did. It's a slow leak in the tire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They weren't running on the rims, but they were closer to it. I diverged there, but I brought it up to date here to say, what were they doing?
Yeah, no.
Relax.
Remembering that people are humans. Yeah, the people you're watching on Sunday, they're human beings. They got stuff going on in their life. It's absolutely a great point. There was a moment where I was like, hey, maybe we get the Schwab this year. Maybe we get the Bills Niners. It's going to happen eventually.
Well, I found the football.
How many years in a row, by the way? Did you predict it?
Well, 7 in a row. One of the 2 of them made it.
Yeah, and you predicted it.
Like 10 or 11 or 12. Because it was like,
right
I
down.
got to
Here's
take
the prediction.
August off. I don't need to do any homework. I know who I'm picking.
Yes, Niners.
Even if I'm wrong, I don't care. Like they've carried me this far. From 88 to 94, one of the 2 of them made it.
Bills Niners every year.
The Niners made it 3 times. They won all 3. The Bills made it 4 times. They lost all 4. But I was 50% for 7 years. Nobody was 50%.
Yep,
and I didn't change a thing.
That's a fact.
So in 9, they send us, I think they still do, the footballs on Championship Sunday of the 4 possible combinations, like a model, Super Bowl, whatever it is. And in 92, I kept the ball, even though the Niners, they got beat, Alvin Harper, Dallas. That was the play in the championship game, the bomb from Aikman to Harper that started them on their mini dynasty there, 3 out of 4. I found it. Maybe that was why they lost to the Bengals. Forget everything else. I found it. I said, I think I know where this is. So it's the 92 ball, Buffalo versus San Francisco in Super Bowl, whatever that was, Michael Jackson, that one, okay? It didn't happen. But I saved that one. I didn't save 7 of them, but I saved that one.
That's great.
And I was ready to bring it on set, just like I was ready to go rock and roll all night. And alas, it'll wait another year.
Yep.
So
So wait another year.
What are the chances that we get a Bills Super Bowl here in this window? It feels like
The Josh Allen window?
It feels like the Josh Allen window, which could, who knows? What was his contract for? He's got another 5 years on it, something around there. What are the chances you think we're going to get an actual Buffalo Bills Super Bowl championship in that time period?
I think they'll be in one, at least one, because he's really good. And he was hurt. I mean, he, Burrow, and obviously Mahomes at the top, they're the best 3. And they're all, by the way, they all win divisions, so they're all going to play each other in the regular season. And they're going to play each other like Manning and Brady did every year, right? Like, they're winning their division 9 times out of 10. So they don't have to go through. I don't want to say the NFC is easier. That sounds like we're knocking Hurts and the Eagles in what they've done, which is the best record in football, right? So we're tied. They'll get in one. They started. Remember, they blasted the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody goes on the road when they're unveiling the banner and beats the hell out of it. Nobody does that.
I remember that game so well too. The Week 1 game, the opening of the NFL season, because we had Julian Edelman, who's our friend of ours, watching the game with us.
I love him.
And he said, he's like, it's just so easy for Josh right now. He's like, it's too easy for him.
Yeah,
and you could feel it. Like everything was just easy. Like everything, he looked comfortable in the pocket. And yeah, he got that elbow injury against the Jets. And it felt like they were, I still wonder, it's crazy to say, but if DeMar Hamlin doesn't happen and they play the Bengals and the Bengals beat them, is that a wake-up call that they needed maybe to?
Could have been.
Because it did feel like towards the end they were kind of, they were winning games, but it didn't look exactly like it looked at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs.
Right.
In October.
Right.
So I'm very confident that that Coach McDermott, Brandon Beane is sharper than hell. The GM, it's a franchise. This fan base speaks for itself. So in other words, they're the only. They're just adored. They're other than Green Bay. It's as you know, it's the smallest city, right? So it's different. Cincinnati is smaller as well. I like that 2 of the smallest cities bonded for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Over the Hamlin injury, but it was not that New York wouldn't. I'm not saying
No,
that,
but it's different. It's different.
It's just a smaller. Somebody wrote on their sign right at the Bengal game, praying for number 3 Hamlin. As a Bengal fan.
Yeah.
Who had a magic marker in his or her pocket. So the answer is they'll get in one, but Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid aren't going anywhere, and Burrow and Zachary Taylor, Zach, they're not going anywhere either. And what does Sean Payton and Russell, that they're in the same division with Herbert, they're all in the Chiefs, and
Trevor Lawrence, and there's a lot.
AFC is, they're going to be in one.
You said
Maybe
something
next year.
there. I don't know if this was subconscious, subliminal. You said Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid aren't going anywhere. I know you've got to be close with Coach Reid. I'm sure that you guys are thick as thieves. Probably going to be rooting for him in the Super Bowl, I would imagine. You think Andy's going to stick around for another 5-6 years?
Well, I do know that he loves coaching and doing what he's doing. Like the setup, sometimes even the smartest, and I would include Bill Parcells in that. I would include, they all want to be the coach, GM. I'm going back a little way to answer your question. In Philly, he was that you always have a cap guy. You can't do math all day long when you're trying to devise a play, right? But he even realized, as Parcells quietly, probably grudgingly realized, and I say that with love and respect for Bill, and Belichick's a little different story, but just you can't. Mike Holmgren wanted to do it. You can't do it all, right? When he went to Seattle, he did the Grand Poobah, I called him, his friend, right? But even he probably at the end realized, if I had a really good GM who won this. Well, that's the situation in Kansas City behind the scenes. Brett Veach, who was on his staff, not so much as a coach, but as an assistant and like quality control, et cetera. He's great at that. They're simpatico, and the ownership is great, and the fan base is great. And now we get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
So if I'm a coach, and I still love it, even though I'm 60, 61, whatever Andy is, I still love coaching, which obviously Coach Belichick does too. He loves coaching. He loves turning on the film on a Tuesday and looking at the other team before I have to even address my play. Like, what do they do? And they still love that. And you have Patrick Mahomes. What's the rush?
Yeah.
Unless there's something we don't know that's going on. You don't feel, you're fighting, which he's not. Like every now and then coaches have to get out because, Terry Francona goes through stuff. He still manages. He loves it. I have Patrick Mahomes, and I have this situation set up here. And so I would think, to put a number on it, will Mahomes play more than 5 more years? Yes. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get hurt because we like football.
Yeah.
You don't have to root for the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah.
If you like football, you want to see him play football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he's not driven by, if he wins this game, I could be wrong, don't quote me. And then I think the next win next year, he would tie Tom Landry for 4. He's not driven by that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. It's not, I got to get to. He's not driven by that. 270 wins, I think, is Landry's number. And they gave Andy, it's 268. I could be wrong, but he's in the.
He's up there, yeah.
There's Don Shula, there's Bill Belichick, there's George Halas, and there's Tom Landry, and Andy is 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if he still loves what he does, and I know he does, and I have him, and I have this setup, where am I going?
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever go out for a steak dinner with Coach Reed?
We've eaten. I don't know about a steak. We've eaten.
We heard a rumor that he eats 3 steaks at a time sometimes.
No, I don't know about anymore. I mean, maybe if I don't think that's true.
Maybe it might be a once a
side
year
steak.
It
Yeah.
might
Or
be,
maybe just as a dare.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. We haven't talked about it, and I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to say it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, he's slimmed down quite a bit.
Yeah.
You can tell he's shed some of the pounds. He still
have
wears
to.
he wears the big jacket, so sometimes you don't realize it. He's lost some weight, but I think we heard that maybe it's at the combine was it Prime?
Oh,
47?
it's like a steak,
at the steakhouse in Indy?
Yeah.
That's a famous one.
Yeah.
That could be. I've not been at that.
It's his like
Okay.
cheat day once a
Yeah.
year. Just
The side
Hey,
steak.
you know what? Once a year, it's February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Do I know that he's done it? I don't think so, but could he do it in the day? I'm sure he could.
Yeah.
is there a coach over the years that you've become closest with that you've become?
Well, he would be it.
Andy's your closest guy.
I mean, and I don't mean to, but that would be him. I mean, I'm very close with quite a few others. It's kind of not all. There's a couple of trees that if you chase my football family history. So this is the Bill Walsh tree and the Niners tree. You don't think so? So here's Bill Walsh, who I learned, not that he sat me down in his office an hour at a time. Let me not misrepresent that, Chris. So here's how we run the West Coast offense. Like, I didn't get that audience, okay? Nor should I have. But I lived it, the Niners, and I got it. And it was new. My football kind of changed then, a little. Mike Holmgren was the direct descendant, if you will. There were others, and many that coached.
Yeah.
That's the direct son of Bill Walsh, kind of, sort of. And then, of course, he had Brett Favre and that offense of the 80s or early 80s, which was already different in the late 80s, when Montana was a better player, and the Niners had Roger Craig and they had Jerry Rice, and, I mean, they didn't have that in 81. Mike Holmgren was the descendant, as I see it, in Boomer-esque history. And Andy Reid is the descendant of Mike Holmgren, even though Holmgren was still coaching Seattle when Andy was coaching Philadelphia. That's the direct. Andy coached under Mike, as did a lot of really successful coaches under Mike. And now look at the successful coaches under Andy. John Harbaugh and I are very friendly. Well, he was on Andy's staff, so I got to meet him through the years. Coach Belichick and I are obviously very friendly, not just to throw names. And of course Marv Levy and I mean, so that's that tree. Okay, we could talk about others, but to me, we run the West Coast offense. There's 10 coaches that say it. It's more like it's not really the West Coast offense. It's not really it. And we're running that. And the West Coast offense, properly run, growing through the years, is still really effective.
Yeah.
So I have the ultimate respect for the way all these guys thought, big picture and little picture. Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid. And so the fact that I've grown close with his family and he with me and didn't get to meet him as an assistant thinking, here's a guy who's going to coach for 25 years and Ty Tom Landry. No, he was the quarterback coach. I went into the quarterback room. He was the quarterback coach, and every Thursday they had Brett Favre like Cajun beans and this and that. Want to come in, Chris? Yeah, sure. Oh, God, talking about guttural with the Raiders. I'll come in. Yeah. And that's Mariucci was in there. I mean, so that's my derivative. So it really goes back farther than anybody knows, even though I didn't know him well when he was an assistant, but I knew Mike's staff well enough.
Yeah.
And so that would be the closest.
That's great.
So it's just interesting that the more life, the longer we live, we go full circle, yeah? So he's coaching against the Eagles.
Yeah.
By the way, he drafted 3 of these players that are still playing.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey, Cox, and Graham. They're still playing.
Yeah.
He hadn't been coached in 2012.
Yeah.
Howie Roseman was his GM. Like, it's the same owner, obviously. I mean, it's interesting how, but he won't see the Eagles as, oh my God, this is, without them, I wouldn't be here. He already knows that.
Yeah.
You don't have to play him to know that. He already knows how good they are. But it's just interesting how and 2 Kelseys.
Yeah.
And 2, heaven forbid, African-American quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even think of it. We put up the graphic at the end of the show. These are the youngest 2.
Yeah.
By 15 days younger than Marino and Montana when you add up the years and the days. Like, all right, that's interesting. And then, by the way, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Which I think doesn't make me a better.
It's
I
great.
think it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to a lot of people, and a lot of like African Americans watching. Obviously, they will notice it because,
of course.
But to us, it's it's something that I think it's a good thing that it doesn't stand out to us anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant by it. Doesn't make me any different than you guys.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Late in the early '80s, I interviewed early in my career Tampa being in the Norris division, which Tampa didn't, geographically with Minnesota, Chicago, Detroit, and Green Bay, and Tampa. But Vince Evans, the quarterback in the Bears, and Doug Williams, who coached in the Bucs. I interviewed both of them in '82 after the game. Didn't make me any different, but I did that interview 40 years ago. Now, it was after the game, so they weren't sitting together. It wasn't any big, but it was, you guys are playing against each other twice a year the last couple of years. Both black African-American quarterbacks. And so it's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that it finally happened in the Super Bowl isn't, I guess it's a milestone.
Yeah.
It's a good milestone. It's a great milestone.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't think like that.
Yeah.
They're both really good.
Yeah, very
How
good.
about that?
Very,
They're really
very good. 1 and 2.
By the
in
way,
MVP,
have you seen the size of Jalen Hurts? I saw him walking in.
Yeah,
he showed the
squats
shot of
like-
him walking in.
and
I thought it was A.J. Dillon.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
insane.
We should say
his legs.
you should watch this on the YouTube because if you're listening to it, Boomer kind of trailed off there. He said he's talking about his thighs. He said Jalen Hurts' thighs. I just want to make that clear in case the audio was a little bit murky on that one. But he squats, 600 pounds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a monster.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's 600 pounds. I mean, that's more than 3 steaks.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this because this has been fantastic. Last question. Hopefully we do this again next year. I'd love for this to be a tradition. It's the Rhoback question. Promo code TAKE. You get 20% off your first purchase. Great golf gear. We'll send you some. Q-zips, polos, everything. the best. Rhoback.com, RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. Super Bowl week, we need your prediction. I want a Schwami score too. I want the weird scores.
Well-
I remember as a kid when I saw the arrow again with the team that didn't score more, I was like, what's that? And then I realized, it's point spread.
Yeah.
I want the Schwami score.
Well, I'm not going to pick 3-2, which I have done
Yes,
as a
yes.
Swami. And I remember greatest show on turf against Brett Favre one year. I think I had 78-75.
Okay,
People
okay.
go, you mean that's an over? No, I'm just picking. You just relax, you know. I guess it's an over.
Yeah.
I don't even look at that anyway. I never pick the scores with regard to that, except so I won't pick 3-2 and I won't pick 78-75. So as much as Jalen Hurts has gone this from that playoff game against Tampa and the whole Eagles team, they were dreadful, to this, and have won 2 games. Say what you want. The history will say 38-7, 31-7. Okay. I understand the 49ers are running a single wing. I get it. Not their fault. A single wing's not going to work in 2022. So, and given that pass rush of the Eagles, will that be better than Chris Jones and Frank Clark? Well, it might be because they're 7 strong. Like they play.
Everyone.
Ndamukong Suh comes in for 18 plays.
Yeah, Linval Joseph.
Well, yeah. Well, 9 of them, they're going to be a real factor,
Yeah.
right? Even though they're not. I mean, Reddick is Reddick, and then I'm forgetting 97. You know, they're loaded there.
Yeah.
Yet both teams. I'll give you a prediction. Both teams sent 3 of their offensive linemen to the Pro Bowl, or flag football, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
they're not going,
Dodgeball,
but whatever it is. So, do I think that's going to be since all the bigs are good? Will that be a neither advantage either way? Maybe so. Mahomes he won't be better than 80%. And who knows what he'll be? We're taping this on the 1st of February, and we don't think anything will happen to him. But he's not. They ran most of probably what they could do. I don't think certain moves in this, and nor will that change in 2 weeks. Is Hurts hurt? A little. He says so. He had that one series where he ran the ball, which I think was a signal to whoever they were going to play next.
Yes, I said
We're
that.
okay
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to just put it away and make it 28-7 and we're done. Mahomes is, Chiefs receivers, God, they ended up with nobody. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Score. $27-24 sounds boring.
That's
right?
not a Schwami. Yeah.
No, but I'm not going to do that because it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is the 78,
Yeah.
the Steelers
Yeah.
against the Purple People Eaters,
Yep.
which, by the way, the score of that game at halftime was 2-0.
Love it.
Look it up.
Love it.
2-0. Did they get to the 30s? Because I haven't gone there yet. You know,
Yeah.
we're early. We're not even out there. Could it be 31-27?
I think it could.
Yes, it could.
What about 29-26? That'd be a
Right.
nice Schwam.
Yeah, that's a schwam. Like when you
Hey,
get
how do you get to
9 and
those?
6 on your Super Bowl board, you're really annoyed,
Yeah, how do you
right?
get-
Like
yeah.
my
Someone gonna win a
$100 just
square.
went down the drain.
Yeah, yeah.
I always used to remember
You needed
Schwam.
2.
Yeah.
Big
yeah.
Cat's right about the arrow. That was, I think a lot of people got woken up to gambling because
Yeah,
of that arrow. It
yeah.
took me a while to
It's like,
figure
hey,
out.
what
Well,
is
I had
this?
to.
Eyes open. There's always one even number and one odd number in the
Okay.
Schwam score.
Yeah, well, has there been? I mean, I don't know if there always was. Did I do it on purpose?
lot of them,
No,
yeah.
no. The only thing I did with the score all those years was make it at least 3 points different from whatever the number was when I taped it on Friday. So there was no mistake, unless Brett Favre, unless Patrick Mahomes isn't playing and Henny's playing, and we
Yeah.
don't know that to Sunday morning. Well, then
Yeah.
the line would. It was always at least 3 different, and then I put that arrow and use words like closer than expected, or they may win more handily than you think,
Yeah.
like that. And so I didn't know about even odd. I didn't do that knowingly if I did.
So what's the official prediction? I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the exact score. So what did you say, Big Cat? Did you say?
I was 29-26. Sounds like Swami, yeah.
Do we want to stick with that, or is there?
Yeah, much more
That's points.
interesting.
Yeah.
If I get it, I'm thinking of the bizarre numbers when you like a 2, although 32 is not that. 22 is a bizarre number.
Yeah, that's a bizarre
And
one.
I think we're a little over. We could pick 25, 22.
Okay.
That's a bizarre one.
Yeah.
But I don't think the game's going to be that bizarre.
Okay.
I don't think it's we're not going to see the single wing or the wishbone.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
let's hope not,
Yep.
right? I announced the game once in college where the Holy Cross ran a wishbone against Brown, and I had to learn. I went to our coach. I went, I just give me 10 minutes of something so I know what the hell I'm doing in 1975. You know, they're running a wishbone. You know, like I know what it is, but whatever. That's an aside. So we want to move that to 25, 22. I like 29, 26.
Okay.
I think. I don't even know what the early over-under is, by the way. You
I
can
think it's
tell
like
me.
right around 48, somewhere 49.
See, so, but
49,
I
yeah.
never picked them worried about that.
Yeah.
My score was never trying to think through everything. So if it's 29, 26, that's
an over. Yeah, which I like. People want that.
they do want that
Yeah.
because you're always in it.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
They want it.
The under is a nervous.
Yeah.
Terrible bet.
But the best in the day was when you took a team, regular season. Well, it would still be now because you wouldn't kick an extra point in overtime. And you're getting 7 and they go to overtime.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
5 things can happen, all of them good.
Well-
even ending in a tie, which
Yep.
of course the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Well, now you have to kick the field goal, or you have to kick the extra point because both teams get a possession.
In
Right, you
playoffs,
would.
yes,
So getting
yeah.
7.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is the
yeah,
best.
you,
But
yeah,
you're
you
right.
would. You
Yeah.
would now.
I had to remind myself of that when the playoffs started because, like you get to overtime, you're home free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but nobody's going to be, that number won't be that. I mean, it'll be
Yeah.
a field goal will make it either way. I mean, I don't think, again, by the time this runs, we may have moved 3 times, but we're just BSing, and you may not even include this a little bit, but I don't think it'll get to 3.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think
Barring,
both defenses are pretty damn good.
Three's a big number
Yeah.
in this case.
Yeah.
Chiefs play a ton of rookies in their secondary.
Yeah.
The Eagle, it could be a little lower than that. So what are we going with, 29, 26?
Yeah. Although
Yeah,
I think you like your 25,
you didn't get
22.
the Brock and roll. I'm going to give you guys the nod with the
Okay,
score.
okay, all
the
right,
score
all right.
contribution.
Yes.
Right?
I love it.
How's
I love
that?
it. Yeah, that's great.
Remember, my favorite saying of all time, it's all in the delivery. We're all in this together, alone.
I love it. I love it.
Remember, that's what we're doing here.
Yes. Chris Berman, thank you so much. Hopefully a tradition every year. We appreciate you. And thanks again for giving us an hour and a half of your time.
I enjoy that you guys are football fans, legitimate football fans. You probably bring a lot of fans to the game that you don't know that you're bringing to the game. Like in our early years of primetime, we didn't know we were bringing some people to the game that might not have watched 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you're doing that as well. I didn't even do the French. You know, le grand chat et le raconteur. I mean, I didn't, I'm sorry, je regrette.
No,
I mean,
that's the
I'm
best.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
With the Olympics coming up in Paris, never too early
Yes.
to start working on
Start
it.
Yes.
brushing
Get
up
your
on it, yeah.
French.
Right?
Yeah.
So good
How's
to
all
see
my
you guys.
French?
Happy Super. I'm glad you're not driving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Me too. That's me.
Thanks, Swam.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Boomer was brought to you by C4. C4 Energy is the secret fuel behind, pardon my take. I drink C4 almost every day. Love the stuff. It's the best in the morning if you're getting ready for a workout. Pound of C4, you're good to go at the gym. C4 Energy has 0 sugar, 0 calories, 0 carbs, with clinically studied carnosine beta-alanine and 200 milligrams of caffeine for elevated performance. C4 Energy is energy that you can feel. Get C4 Energy at c4energy.com, Amazon, and retailers nationwide like Walmart and 7-Eleven, or the grocery store right next to my house that I stop at almost every morning. I get 1 can of C4 and I'm on my way out the door. Get C4 Energy, go to c4energy.com.
Okay. Chris Berman was awesome.
I love Chris Berman. I love him so much.
I
I love
honestly
that you
hope-
can hear him before you see him. When he comes around the corner and you just hear him talking, you hear some of the, and your ears perk up, and it's like, it's on.
And it's also, I hope this is just a Super Bowl tradition that we have him on to start every Super Bowl week, as long as he'll come on. It's hilarious because we go up to this hotel. He rents this huge conference room in a hotel in Connecticut. And then after we finish the interview, this happened 2 years in a row now, there's just like a massive spread of food that is just out there for us to have lunch. And it's like, it's very old school way.
It is. And all the Diet Cokes that you can drink, just stocked with Diet Cokes. And he gave us like some spread.
Yeah. Well,
when we looked at the spread.
I was eating, and he walked up. He was walking out, and he's like, how's the food? And then he caught himself. He's like, how's the food? Some spread?
Yeah. He gave us like the whole history behind the some spread. We basically, every time we sit down with Boom, at least the last 2 times, it goes on for like another 30-minute podcast after we're done recording.
Yeah.
Because you wind him up and he just goes.
He's the best. He's the absolute best. So thank you to Chris Berman for coming on. Hopefully it is a tradition. We have pre-taped the lottery ball machine because we knew we would be out of the office.
Oh, yeah.
So we know what happens.
Congratulations, Hank.
Let's find out if Hank has finally won. Kicking it back to ourselves in studio.
Love you guys.
No, you don't get to say that. I love you guys. No, I love you guys. Not Hank.
Okay, we're back in the studio. End of Monday's show. Yeah, he said love you guys in the last one. We're gonna do the numbers. So we're taping this on February 3rd. We're gonna do the numbers for the entire Super Bowl week to see if Hank can get it, which he won't, because he'll never get it. Hank, have you ever gotten it?
No.
Okay, numbers.
17.
69.
18.
51.
20.
90.
90. Where'd that come from, Hank? Random? And there's a lot of money in the pot right now. 97.
Oh, that one was really close.
Close, Hank. That's the closest you ever been.
Pause.
4th time. Ooh, 3rd
Love you
time
guys.
in 2023.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
Dragons might have been real.
Definitely done that before.